Get the legal stuff out of the way. Hi, my name is Frank Allen. I will be your host this evening on Stars International. And we are rolling, so. Yeah, that's actually represented obviously by Targeted Massachusetts too. Have to get the state in there. Okay, you guys can hit *6, unmute, and talk amongst yourselves if you like, because we're just going to be doing a little bit of waiting for Scott to get here. And that should be, I don't know, like I say, 9:30, so feel free.
*6?
Yep, *6.
Hi, this is Scott.
Hey, Scott, how you doing?
Doing good. First time I've been on this call system.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's there's not too many people in just yet, but there's a few people if you want to, like, speak a
If
little
anybody's
bit.
got any questions?
Yeah, I think you'll get tons of questions on surveillance equipment from these people. And Scott is out in California, and the name of his store is Gotcha Spy. The name of his site is gotchaspy.com, and he will familiarize you with any type of equipment that you may be interested in.
Or at least any equipment we sell in that store. And keeping in mind, it's not my store. I just worked there for the past 7 years, so I do have a little bit of knowledge of what is sold from the store.
Okay, I see. Yeah. Understandable.
Now, for the most part, we deal with surveillance equipment, hidden cameras, microphones, things like that. But we've run across a lot of things in the past 7 years, including some of the more unique things would be like sonic weapons and stuff. Sonic weapons have been sold even in our store that do different things like cause nauseousness, sleeplessness, restlessness, irritable, cause you to try and think, get paranoid, things that are going on around you. And it's just a noise that's generated in the background that you can't hear, like a dog whistle.
Okay, and this is actually legally sold then. And how many people?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it's sold as a practical joke, a novelty.
Oh, wow, it's something that'll make somebody sick too.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, Scott, for coming on. I appreciate you doing this favor for me because it's going to help a lot of people, and I know that your time is limited, so I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I'll have to bring my equipment back down there to have you explain to me again what's I'll have to pay you to get a tutorial.
There's a lot of times people come into my shop with stories and stuff, and a lot of people are saying that they're crazy. And it's surprising the things they turn out to be. It can be anything from sonic weapons to, I've had a lot of stories coming in lately about electromagnetic fields on their meter readers causing all kinds of health problems. My own grandmother thought we had ghosts in the house. It turned out she had glaucoma. So there's usually always kinds of solutions for these things.
Wow.
Do you find a lot of people coming to you for things like nanny cams and things like that?
For the most part, that's exactly what we deal with, is things to watch your teenagers and stuff like that.
Yeah. No.
And we've got nanny cams and radios, USB wall chargers, clocks, even glasses.
No.
Cool little pens that have recording devices on them.
Your question?
How legal are these, like, say, a recording device? A lot of these people want to record their perps. Now, some of them are out in public, some of them are in private. So what's the legality in California, for instance, concerning recording? Do you know?
Well, in California, I believe that, and keep in mind this is secondhand knowledge from the police and stuff in my area. I haven't been to court for any of this stuff. But I believe in California, the best rule of thumb is expectation of privacy. Anytime they have an expectation of privacy, you can't record without their knowledge. Now, there are exemptions to this. If they're breaking the law,
so
for
really
instance.
Yeah, there is no privacy, so it's better to have it just hidden to protect yourself, because we've seen cases that the police have literally taken the cell phone that somebody was recording, unlawful behavior.
Now, if you walk into a store and building and you have a sign up on that building that says that they've got audio and video recording on duty, that not only is a release of liability for the people at that place, but it's a release of liability for anybody going into that place who wants to record as well. Now, California is really one of two states that have a problem with audio recording. For the most part, every other state's pretty much open for this stuff.
Okay, now out in public, out in the streets, we'll say we undergo something called street theater, where they're actually right in your face. So to record that would seem to be legal. I think it
is indeed legal. It is no expectation of privacy. You're legal to do so. Now, the way the authorities get around that is they claim that you're impeding their investigation, and they arrest you on those laws.
Okay.
So if they don't want you to watch, they'll find a reason. Hidden cameras work really well for those situations.
I see. Once again, folks, we have tonight Scott Smith, and he'll be speaking to us about surveillance that's available in his store. His website is gotchaspy.com. Name of the company is obviously Gotcha Spy. And if you'd like to *6 and unmute, you can ask him any questions that you like, and I'm sure he'll be right there for you to answer them. Sorry to interrupt you, Scott.
Can I ask, have you had anybody, Scott, that you know that have reported using this in court as evidence? Is it admissible?
I've had several situations where people have been violently attacked and stuff where the recorded information was useful and admissible in court. But that's the only thing it's been useful for, other than showing that other family members that they're not crazy, that they're really hearing and seeing things. And it usually turns out to be something that they can explain. Yeah.
Okay, I have some noise, I think.
Some background noise.
Okay, caller 1, you seem to have radio noise in the background. As soon as you clean that up, feel free to *6 and ask Scott a question if you choose to. Anybody else that would like to do so, *6, unmutes. Okay, Scott, the floor is yours.
All right. I like the way this phone system works. That's very nice. You can actually tell who's calling in.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, it seems like in a lot of these situations, they're being bullied and stuff, and the hidden cameras seem to cover these things. A lot of times I'll put up real cameras that are obvious and a couple of cameras that are hidden. If I get called on the big cameras, I've still got the hidden cameras working for me. If this is a legal issue, they've already been duly notified legally that they're being recorded by audio and video. Just because I turned off one camera doesn't mean I turned off every camera.
Yeah.
I see. So
is there devices to actually find if there's hidden devices that you sell?
As she said, we have devices that we sell that are counter-espionage. They find hidden cameras. They find hidden microphones, GPS tracking devices in your car that broadcast an RF signal. As you get closer to these RF signals, the lights get stronger and stronger so you can narrow down and find out where these things are in your environment. They range in price, anywhere from $200 on up into the $1,500 range. Quite expensive, but they can give you some serious peace of mind, letting you know if your phone's being tapped or if your car's got something. Anybody got any questions out there?
I have one. What are some of your brand names? I mean, are they names that would say emulate old CB radios, or I mean, consumer audio or anything like that?
For the most part, they're just new electronics done on the cheap. We really don't have the high-end stuff. Some of the high-end stuff would come from companies like Lawmate, for instance. They deal with really good high-quality audio recorders and night vision cameras and stuff. But for the most part, we deal with LTS for our home security systems and generic off-brand names that we get from all over the world, with little hidden cameras and pins, keychains, cigarette lighters, baseball caps, all kinds of stuff.
Wow, that's really very interesting. I've seen some of these cameras, obviously, like we'll say in my iPhone, that are actually tiny. And I've seen them for sale separately for as little as like $2 and $3, we'll say, on eBay. Of course, naturally, you have to have the technical expertise to incorporate them into a device. But I've seen them, and I was really amazed with the size. And that was a while back, so I'm sure they're quite smaller now.
Well, 2 years ago, we tried all this stuff, and it wasn't working very well. We sent it all back. This year, we're trying it all, and it works really good. We do charge quite a bit more for it in our store, but that's because we provide a 1-year warranty, and we test everything out before we sell it. You can probably pick up, like, the DVR pins off the internet for $50 to $80 in the quality that we sell in the store for $150.
Okay, I see. I know the nanny cams have stopped a lot of problems in that particular environment because the people are always questioning to themselves, okay, does this place actually have a camera, and babysitters too, because babysitters sometimes will just throw a party, somebody's going to be gone for a weekend. So,
well, we've had all kinds of babysitters caught on video doing things they shouldn't, like going through the clients' drawers and stuff looking for money and other things. We've had different things where the maids have been doing things like that as well. And let's see, what was the last big one? The last big one was we had a lady that came in that was just had a feeling that somebody was watching her. She had no evidence, no proof, no nothing. She bought a lens detector, and she went home and she found cameras at home. She ended up renting that lens detector out to save some money to some of the other people in the apartment complex. And guess what? They found cameras too. And at the end of the case, it turns out that the property manager had a maintenance guy that had hidden cameras in all the pretty young ladies' houses. He'd clean them up, repaint them, and put in some hidden cameras, and then make sure the pretty young ladies got rented out there.
Wow.
So there's all kinds of creepy everywhere in our lives. We need to be aware.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sounds like you're...
I didn't think about this when I came in, about getting a little camera to put on my dog's collar.
I think about all these things, but I'm just into the technology. I'd like to mess with people and have a talking dog mess with a drunk.
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
I love that about your sense of humor.
Okay, for those of you who have just gotten here, if you'd like to ask Scott a couple of questions, just *6 to unmute. Yeah, see, people come in and they need to kick back and have a beer or something or whatever it is they do, and then they get settled in. But I'm really sorry to see that you'll only be with us for about an hour, because I think there's going to be a lot of people interested. And I'm probably going to ask you to come back too, like say, on another night that's convenient for you. Like
Sundays and Mondays are usually okay for me.
Okay. Well, we could build a show around Sunday. Say for, an hour and a half, 2 hours usually. It depends upon what the topic is or subject.
One of the things that I'm interested in getting some feedback on is I've got a lot of people coming in and talking to me about EM fields. EM fields on their meter boxes and stuff that they're putting on their homes that are causing all kinds of health issues. And I'd like to see what's out there because I have no clue, but I'm getting a lot of questions. And I believe the EM fields are too strong. I don't know what they're doing with them and why they would want to do that with them. But I'm seeing a lot of evidence out there that people are having all kinds of health issues because of these, just weeks after these things are put on their new homes.
The smart meters. Yeah, can you fill them in a little bit on that, Frank? Because I'm not at all on it.
The smart meters have been introduced into the community, and there is basically one smart meter that reports back to the high command, and the others actually are sending out signals all the time to this one central one. And there's it fills the air everywhere with radio frequency. Caller 1, we have some more interference from you. Sounds like a radio.
Frank.
Yes.
Frank, this is Marilyn. May I ask a gentleman a question?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Hi, Marilyn.
Okay, hi, this is Marilyn from Rhode Island. What about your long distance listening? Do you have any kind of those, and how far of a distance do you have?
The ones we sell in the store are basic. They're parabolic shields that let you listen into 300 to 400 feet away. There are other things out there that are higher advanced, like a laser microphone that can do as far as line of sight. You need clear weather to use those things. The starting price for a parabolic shield goes for about $150 on up.
That's doable. Okay, thank
and
you.
they're about a foot size, and they'll listen into about 300 feet away. They're line of sight, so if there's anything between you and that target, that's what you're going to be listening to.
I see. Okay, thank you.
You're quite welcome. I've used them in situations like going out camping to hear what's going on down at the stream and to listen to my kids in the backyard.
Now I'm thinking more about listening to perps, after you located them.
Right, and it certainly could be useful for that.
Yeah.
Parabolics have been around a long time. Isn't that what a shotgun is what you're referring to?
Yeah, and there's different microphones that'll do the same thing as a parabolic shield will do, just not quite as long distance.
Does that use an omnidirectional microphone?
Yes.
Or it does, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just curious. Do you do any purchasing from Amazing One?
No, I haven't, but I'm writing that name down.
Okay. You might be able to do a wholesale deal with them. I don't know. They have a lot of stuff on there, though.
Oh. Well, I'm always looking for a gadget store.
Frank, Susan.
Hi, Sue.
Hi, Frank. I just wanted to say I have a parabolic dish, and I broke it. I had it for 2 years, and you could get them on Amazon.
Microphone.
They're about $28, $31, $32. You get them on Amazon.com. The only thing is New York. Yeah, you can hear with them, but you got to watch out because over here it's illegal. It's illegal, and this one comes with video. You could video what you're seeing because it's used for bird watching. You know what I mean?
They've also made binoculars that have digital recorders and an audio amplifier built right into them. You can zoom in and record what you're looking at and listen to it at 100, 150 feet away.
I find that it was a waste for that because if they catch me, it's illegal. So and you have to open your window to do it. You can't do it in the house without opening your window. So
I was just working with my teenagers, so it really didn't matter.
Oh yeah, I mean I still use it outside.
That's what it's all about.
But for $28, you know, if you could use it, use it. You're supposed to hit the other person's window with it, and you could hear what they're saying.
Probably vibrates the glass.
That would be the laser microphones that do that. The parabolic shield listen to the vibration, all right, but it has to be able to hear something so that it can amplify it. In this case, the average one amplifies it by 120 decibels. I'm currently talking to you at about 40 decibels. Now, the laser microphones are a lot more powerful, and they do listen to the vibration of you talking within that window, within that room. And they're good to line of sight. They can be aiming down from Big Bear to your house and listen to you.
Right. Okay, so they're called, what I had is the parabolic dish. That's what I had, yeah, okay.
Right, and they amplify sound waves.
Correct. I was going to get another one, but, you know, forget it.
Which is also why they're line of sight. They don't normally work through a wall or window. But that being said, if you can slightly hear what's being said in that wall or window, it'll amplify it.
Do you know anything about, what do you call that? Well, they put an enhancer, a booster, on my telephone wire, right by my house, right in front of my house on the wire. And I feel it's enhancing the signal to this clown across the street. Do you know how I can stop it?
I do not know that, but what I would do is I would call the phone company and I would ask for an integrity check on my phone line. They will monitor the phone line for 3 or 4 days, and if there's a fluctuation in the power or in the sound coming through that line, they'll drop a new line down to a house, effectively taking a tap out.
Okay, I'm writing that down. Integrity
check on the phone line.
Check. Okay.
A lot of time these lines go bad just from sun melting the cords down and then they get staticky. They'll just drop you a new line, and that effectively changes the line that's been tapped.
Oh, I love that. Thank you very much.
I'm sure a lot of people are writing that down.
Yes, I feel I'm getting the tinnitus like crazy, like the whole house is buzzing. So I don't think he even knows that he's practically killing me here with that thing.
And that could be a lot of it. You know, they don't know what the technology does out there. It can have side effects that they're not even truly meaning to implement on us. And then again, there can be some other factors to that too that we don't know about.
I just wanted to jump
briefly
back to
go ahead.
smart meters. I'm sorry, Amy.
No, go ahead.
A lot of people today are putting noise filters on both lines coming into the house.
Oh, let me write this down. You get them online?
Well,
yeah, I got to have something.
Scott probably has them. I'm not sure. Noise filters. And there's actually a box that goes on the wall, and the lines, the two 110 lines coming in the house, which gives you your 220, actually have a filter. So I remember one.
Can I do it myself or have to have an electrician?
Oh, that'd be an electrician job, yeah. I can see Susan glowing at 220 volts.
Okay, so I could call up electrician and ask for a noise filter.
Noise filter, yeah. They have small ones you can plug in that may be just as good, but
I could do myself, the small ones.
Yeah, but it's better off to nip it right at the pole, so to speak.
And the small ones that you're talking about are a null modem. They basically edit the static and the different frequencies out of the phone line so it can separate cable from your internet. And it also filters out other things on your lines as well.
Can I get it on Amazon?
You can get those pretty much anywhere on null modem. But like I said, what he's talking about is a little bit more specific. It's looking for other things to filter out rather than just to separate the signals that are being sent in your one cable line between cable TV and your internet signal and your phone line for that matter. They got 3 different null modems they use to separate those signals.
I have to ask
Is
this really.
the
Let me just
5G?
ask. I'm not done yet. If I change my provider, and will this stop it?
Maybe, maybe not. It could be connected to the hardware on the house, and they all share the same hardware. You probably need an IT to come in and run the line from your phone connection on out and make sure everything's clean.
Okay, so stick with the interrogation.
Integrity check is the first place to start with, and it should be free at your phone service.
Okay, gee, thank you.
You're quite welcome.
Hey, Scott,
Anybody else have a question for me?
Do you see 5G complicating this equipment or the integrity of it that I bought?
Frankly, all I have on that so far is, wow, I want to play on it. I don't have any technical behind what it does yet. As soon as it comes out, I'll probably bury my head into it for a while.
I know it said 11 states they already are trying it in. I don't know. I imagine we're probably one of those, California.
Yeah.
How much truth is there to all the rumors that we've been hearing that 5G is actually 100 times 5G?
Good question. I have no clue. I have heard that the signal strength is going to be 10 times stronger, so
okay, all right.
Quite possible.
Yeah, it's quite possible that somebody 10 times it all the way up, so it was 100. But that's what.
And the fact of the matter is, they've learned that they can do the same thing with less energy. They drop computers down from 12 volt to 3.7 volt, and they work every bit as efficient as they did before.
Yeah, it's
everything's going smaller electricity. They don't need to run on as much. You know, your light bulbs used to suck down a lot of power. Now they're going to LEDs that don't suck down as much power.
Yeah, it's too bad. Back when all of this started with Mr. Tesla, that we didn't stick with high frequency voltage rather than this god awful amperage that we're running. We don't need that amperage.
Yes, and it does bad things to the human body. I mean, it's not needed. They've figured out a long time ago that we didn't need to use these kind of high power, and why they don't want to let it go is simply controlling us. If you have all this free power out there, we're not going to be controlled.
Right. I tried the wireless electricity experiment, and I found that very interesting. And
but that batteries work real well too. You probably did that in your science class at school.
Yeah. Yeah, we sure do. We sure did. I found out with a lot of the GOS meters that we have that they will pick up a dormant field, like a motor that's not running, residual magnetism. They'll pick up a battery, a refrigerator magnet. So I've tried to tell people to be careful. You know, when they see a signal, it could be something behind it. You know, but you've probably got a long line of meters too that you sell.
Hi. Hello, everybody. I'm getting on late. I'm sorry. I hope I'm not off subject. But I do have a question.
Go right ahead.
So, about 2 weeks ago, I completely got rid of my cable service with cable channels. I kept my internet and my phone. So the next day, actually immediately the next day, some weird stuff started happening. People were showing up who was supposed to be servicing the house next door, a cable guy climbing up on the ladder next to its cable wires. And so I asked him what was he doing. He said, he got a little offended at me. But anyway, one of the questions I asked my neighbor, I said, well, wow. I said, something's wrong with your cable? And she said, oh, well, you know, he's given us something about her internet. I said, well, I thought you already could get on the internet. Oh, well, we have an old box. You know, we're getting our box replaced.
Excuse me?
So the next day, I saw another cable truck, but nobody really got out of the truck to do any work. It was like waiting around. I was leaving, you know. So once I left, I don't know what they did. And I think 2 days even after that, another cable person came and was messing with the wires. But all of this happened after I got rid of my cable. And my cable is a different cable company. So could there be something that was cut off that caused a problem for them to be able to, you know, monitor me when I got rid of my cable TV? All my cable boxes were disconnected and everything. All the cable wires were disconnected. So could that have broke a signal and then they had to come back and you know, fake like they were doing something to the wires, but really was trying to set up a new connection?
Right. From my point of view, the most likely answer is the answer. And it's most likely that when they disconnected your service, they screwed up somebody else's service, and that's why they were out there to fix some problem that happened when they disconnected you. That being said, if you are a targeted investigation, they'll try and come out and give your neighbor free internet so that they can access the pole. This stuff does happen to people. But the most likely situation here is that they were just coming out to fix a problem from you canceling.
No, but these are two different cable companies. I had
right,
totally different.
But they all use the same service. So does your internet. Out here, we use like a Cox Cable, and everybody out here sells it from T-Mobile on down the line.
Well, no, I have Verizon, and Comcast came out.
Right, and they all use the same cables. Even though that's one company or another, the cables coming to your house are all the same cables.
But my question was, could my cables, once I disconnected my cable, not that did I mess their service up, that if they were using my cables to spy on me, could that have disconnected that ability for them to do that? So then they had to come back and rewire something to, you know, get that signal back.
Yes, it could be that, or it could be just as simple as they cut off your communication, and when they did so, they also screwed up your neighbor's internet. Now they had to come out to fix his internet. So there are a lot of possibilities.
Okay. Well, okay.
But I've also, like I said, I've also seen the other end of it where they had a house across the street, and they paid the owners, they basically paid off the owner's house to come in and use their house for a month. They wanted to watch the drug house across the street from them. So they sent the family on vacation for a month and then paid off their home equity loan when they got back. They spent like $250,000 on this family and paid off their home just so they could watch the house across the street for a month.
Wow.
So it does happen. But the most likely answer in this situation would be, when they canceled your internet, they screwed up somebody else's. Because they all do use the same cables and phones on those poles. Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile don't all have a different line running down to your house. They all use the same lines.
The same line. Okay. All right. Well, I'll let this one go.
You guys have a great one. That's a good question, though. A very good question.
May I ask the gentleman a question?
Certainly.
Okay, next to your voice detection using your long-distance listening is a vision of proof. I see that you have a wireless camera hunter here in front of me, but there's no pricing there. Will you give us a specification of your wireless camera hunter?
The wireless camera hunter is also an RF detector as well. They start off at $200. And they go up to $1,500. The basic user needs a standard $200 one. It finds any hidden cameras you're in your environment, working or not, wired or wireless. It points out where the hidden cameras are at. The RF detector tracks down anything with a radio frequency. So you turn off all the RF signals you know about, like your wireless internet and your phone system, and you start looking for the RF signals in your house that you don't know about. And it helps you decide what's going on in your environment. They can also be used to tell you if your phone is tapped. You set it on top of your phone at night, and if it goes off on its own, your phone is either uploading information to a website for somebody, or somebody's on your phone. It's communicating through a radio frequency, an RF signal.
Is that including cells or just a regular phone, home phone? Is that what it cells too?
Yeah, it does. Hidden sounds too. Now, some of these audio recorders, they broadcast to another location, it'll find those. If it's self-recording and somebody comes back into the place to retrieve them, it can't find those. There's no RF signal and there's no camera.
Let's see. What about for visual, like taking a picture? Do you have any of those covered?
We've got a lot of different things that do pictures. Like I said, the lens detector will find cameras, working or not, wired or wireless. And then, of course, wireless cameras can be found with a radio frequency, an RF detector.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
Very good questions. RF detectors and lens detectors start off at $200 and go up to $1,500 in our store. Of course, there is no top end on this stuff.
Okay.
These are in a few minutes.
Could I ask you a question? When I called up, thank you. When I called up my electric company, you know, I was very adamant and direct with them. And I said, I want to know what this box is, and I want it taken down. And they were very direct with me. I think that's the way to go. And she says, okay, let me write this up, and we'll be there 5 days. Oh, they came right away. And then I got a phone call the same day. I couldn't believe it. She says, it's not our equipment, and it's not our line. It's cable. Okay. I said, thank you very, very much. Cable's given me a hard time taking it down. But from what I mean, I'll fix them. I'm not done with them. I thought that that's the first line is cable. The second line is the electric, and then there's a third line. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it's Verizon. Because cable and Verizon are not allowed to use the same line. How do I know that? Because I had Verizon, and they had to rewire downstairs all the cable. I says, what are you doing? They said, we're not allowed to touch their Cablevision's wire, you know, which is the coaxial cable.
Right.
So how about the pole? If I get Verizon, it's not coming in through the cable wire. Am I right?
You're right. The cable's dropping down from the house. They will separate those two cables. Like you said, they'll come out and they'll have to install whole new cables. For the most part, they all use the same cables. Now, once they go from the cables, they go to another place where they've got a central station that controls all the phone calls. Those are shared resources. They all rent their shared resources from a third company. Out here, it's Exo Communications, and Exo Communications rents out to Cox Cable, to AT&T, to Verizon, to Sprint, to all of them.
Yep.
What about voice analyzer, or is it too big?
We don't really have anything in that phenomenon, in that range. We don't deal with voices and stuff. We used to carry a voice transformer that would change your voice into like anything from Darth Vader to a little kid's voice. And then we've had expensive ones that you could actually adjust and make it sound like somebody else's voice.
I see. Okay.
But that's all we've had in the store.
Can I tell you something else that I know for a fact? This was about 3 years ago. Everyone who uses targeted individuals are being recorded every time you're on the phone, even if they're not home. Okay, I heard of that. I read about it years and years, and then I experienced it. I picked up the phone, and there's my voice talking to my friend, and this was the other day, the whole conversation. So what happened?
Well, I got a little info on that one for you. It's not just targeted individuals anymore. It's every cell phone on the face of this planet is being recorded as we speak right now. They no longer just do targeted phones. They've got warrants for Verizon, for Sprint, not for Scott at Verizon, but for everybody at Verizon. So if you think you're being recorded on the phones, you're right. You are.
What's the deal with that?
Well, the government's nosy. They want to know everything, and then they run programs on all this information to find out different things. Like, who wants to go fishing? Let's send them information for a fishing pole. All the way down to who's voting which way. You know, they can use it for anything they want, from food research to who's voting for what.
Oh, excuse me a second. Maybe you should rephrase
They call it analytics.
Everybody's targeted.
They are. Everybody's targeted. The whole population is being watched. And they're being watched as a group, like you would watch your cattle.
Oh, my God.
How much grain are they eating? How much water are they drinking? How far are they moving every day? Yeah, what are their interests? How can we control them? And that's not even the stuff that's out there. That's just normal stuff. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Could I ask you a question?
Certainly.
Okay, I was on the phone on Frank's call, his last call, and I didn't say anything, but I was getting this loud voice when I talked, like an echo going through my head into my brain. And then Frank said, Susan, my phone is echoing. So what does that mean?
Usually means a feedback for one reason or another. It usually means there's an open speaker in the room somewhere. But I've had crazy stuff happen. I've had people pulling reception off of the wiring in their teeth. So it could be a number of different things. It's usually a feedback on a speaker somewhere.
Okay.
But like I said, I've had crazy things regarding people's teeth picking up sound.
That's really very interesting.
Like I say, I like to try to find a good explanation for everything. Sometimes there's just things that are unexplainable. We usually call that faith.
Okay, well then.
Until they put that thing up on the wires, that box, the booster.
And new technology, we don't know how it's going to apply to us yet, you know. Some people hear things that other people don't hear. So people don't bother them at all. Other people can't sleep because they're hearing noises. It doesn't mean they're crazy. They just hear noises I don't hear.
Okay.
And that exists. Like 10% of the population actually hears the shuttle come in for a landing. When it breaks the atmosphere, they can hear the sonic boom. The rest of us are oblivious to it. We never heard a thing. What are you talking about? Go back to sleep. You know?
Some of us are sensitive.
Yeah, some of us have hearing ranges and different spectrums that others of us can't hear. It's like a dog whistle. We can't hear the dog whistle. Some people can.
Do you think the perpetrators are using sound to target us?
Oh, yeah, in a lot of different ways, sound is being used against us, for sure. Like I said, we even sell practical jokes and novelties in our store that utilize sound. Things that make you feel car sick after 5 or 10 minutes of being subjected to the sound waves. And they're sound waves you can't hear. I've had it in the store, and I've had 5 or 6 people that couldn't hear a damn thing. And one person was going, "Do you hear that? Do you hear that noise? There's a humming noise in the background. It's irritating." Everybody else in the store started getting car sick.
Is your store online that if I wanted to buy something? And
GotchaSpy.com. That's GOTCHA, gotcha, spy, SPY.com. And yeah, that's my boss's website. I've been working there for about 7 going on 8 years.
Okay.
Is your buddy going to keep it going, Scott, before you leave?
Okay. It's GotchaSpy.com,
Do you have anything?
right?
That's correct. Gotcha Spy.
Okay. Thank
Do
you.
you have anything for self-defense?
In our store, we carry pepper spray, stun guns, and tasers. We also have tactical pens and a whole bunch of attitude.
Lots of attitude. Okay, females.
Yeah, well, the way I like to say that is, youth and enthusiasm will never overcome experience and treachery.
Okie dokie.
I like a prepared mind, though. The best thing you can do to defend yourself is be prepared.
Well, sometimes you cannot never be prepared, but you're going in the cover. Yeah, there's always surprises, and you just want to cover yourself up. Be safe.
Well, being prepared is to cover as much as you can. It's never going to cover everything. But, before you get out of the car, you look around. Before you turn, you get out of the car, you have your keys in your hand, your weapon in your other hand. You're ready.
Yeah.
But bottom line is, when God wants you, you're going.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's true, too. Yes, it's true. But sometimes you can't decide with what you have within you for safety,
Yeah, but faith will take you through a lot. It really will. Either the faith that this is meant to happen and this is what's supposed to be, or the faith that, nah, I'm not crazy. This is what's going on.
Does people come into your store and tell you they're targeted? What can they do about it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've got a lot of people coming in. I've actually got the local gangs a little upset at me around my store. They tagged my light poles around my store, telling me that they were watching me because I apparently got one of their guys busted. I helped one of the ladies in my store, and they got him on camera and got him arrested. So now the gang was mad at me for helping them.
I thought it was strange when I was in your store, Scott, and that lady, a Filipino lady, came out of nowhere and came up to me ranting and raving, saying she's a target individual. And I pretended to not know what she was talking about. And I'm like, okay, she followed me here. She followed me 30 minutes away from where I was, from here to your store. And I'm like, I pretended to not know what she was talking about.
Yeah, I saw the video you had on that pin when you left the store and came back. Yeah.
It was so weird. I pretended to
She
not
had
know.
a DVR pin that she had hidden, and she recorded some of this incident, too.
That's interesting. Glad you told me that, because when I called Frank, I said, Frank, this woman, she's on to me, and I'm not going to give her anything. I'm going to pretend like she's crazy. I don't know what she's talking about. But she followed me here. Someone sent her.
Hey, I got one or two more questions before I need to go for the night.
Okay. Does anybody have a question for Scott?
Where's your store?
We're in Westminster, California.
Oh,
that's 14032 Beach Boulevard. 14032 Beach Boulevard in Westminster, California.
One of the few left. Were there 5 different ones left? You're like the only one left?
In Orange County, I think I'm the only one. I know of another one in Vegas.
No, they all left because they got scared.
Can I ask you a question before you go?
Certainly. What's the question?
Can we beat it? Because it sounds so. Can we beat it? And what's the best way to do it?
Well, some of these sounds can be beat by counter sounds, like a counter sound headsets. They actually reflect the sound back at the sound coming at you. Some of them are going right through that. They're going right into your body, and you're feeling them more than you're hearing them. And I don't know of a way around those. But for the most part, a sonic, meaning noise weapon, you can do anything from doing earplugs to more noise, having the stereo play in the background to drown out what they're sending your way, to noise amplifying headsets that actually send out the counter sound in the opposite direction and cancels any sound coming at you.
What's the name of that? So what's the name of headsets again? Noise canceling?
Sound canceling headsets. They cancel all different sounds. So if you got a jackhammer in the background, it makes the sound of a jackhammer and produces it outwards and nullifies the sounds coming at you. So all you hear is your music. They're usually expensive ones like Bose and so forth sells them.
Bose is the best?
Bose is the best I know, but I'm sure that's an opinion.
Oh, hey, anything's worth it. But you were very helpful. I want to thank you very much.
Yes, Scott.
And thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Does the host have any questions for me?
Any more questions, folks? I'd like to mention one more time. Don't forget his website, gotchaspy.com. And you can purchase any of the devices that he has spoken of at that site.
All right, guys. Well, my intention is to drop by from now and then and answer some questions every once in a while. Maybe I'll come in on a Sunday now and then or a Saturday.
All right. Well,
you guys have a great weekend. Thanks again.
Okay. You too, Scott.
Thank you.
See you later.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
He was very helpful, Frank.
Yes, I'm very disappointed that he didn't stay longer. But he did express the fact
remember,
that
this is his only day off. Sunday and
Yeah.
Monday is his only days
Yeah.
off. He's working the rest of the week, so this is the only way I can get him.
He's very good. Because I need
I
reassurance. I'm stuttering like crazy from all this tinnitus that's wrapping around my whole inside of my house and even outside. Oh, I don't want to go on. It's miserable, you know? What's with the torture like that? I don't get it. I think killing would be more humane than doing all this shit.
well, nothing about this has been human right from the beginning.
God.
They want to eliminate humanity. They want to torture, and if they can torture, then they can play God. They think they are God, and then they think they win. But I'm not going to let them persevere.
Yeah, like I say, there's a lot more stuff that I wanted to discuss with him that about things that are happening to us that I know he has. And Amy mentioned that he has this ultrasonic device that you can actually wear in your ears. And
Yeah,
that,
I bought over $1,000 worth of equipment from him.
yeah,
I have to go back down there to have him show me how to use, where you can locate devices, where things that are motion activated and sound activated, so that it will capture only the things that come in contact with you, so it doesn't waste the battery.
Well, what works?
Oh, a lot. I haven't tried it all out yet, and I have to go get a laptop so they can download things to it.
Camera transmission of a video receiver without having to run cable.
What? What was that? What was that in the background somebody was saying?
Oh,
Somebody was
no, I was just
something.
reading this Gotcha Spy and Security products about the wireless. They don't have no wireless camera yet.
Yeah, and he's explained how when they were setting up shop in front of his house, they were watching stuff, and he thought it was about him. So these two guys in the car. So he walked up to him and he said, "I noticed you were sitting out there for a long time, for like days, camped up front outside my house. Is there something I can help you with? Do you want to come in and have some coffee?" And like, "Oh no, you're not supposed to know we're here." Blah blah. blah. And they took off and they never came back. So yeah, they are afraid of people like him because he's not afraid to call people out on their crap, and we got to do the same way. Like there was an unmarked car that came into the parking lot, a police car with a big antenna on it. The old, what is it called, Crown Royal white car. So I took a picture of it. And I was right about the time I got a scam call from Arlington, Virginia. Arlington, Virginia is where we have our veteran cemetery, which I choose not to be buried there. I'm going to be buried here at Miramar Naval Air Station, California. But, you know, you get weird things like that, and you just kind of have to laugh. Because they're more afraid of us than we are of them. That we're onto them. So we just have to keep doing it.
Can I ask Frank a question? Frank?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead, Sue.
Can you email him about the ear things that you got or you wanted to get and see what he says about it?
Yes, we can do that.
And then let me know. Maybe that will. I think that could help a lot. Because Bose is expensive. Those things that I wrote down, they're really expensive. Maybe the earbuds that he said is. You said it was earbuds?
Yeah, Bose. I almost worked for Bose back in 2005.
Wow.
So I would say that they're probably the best. Bose has been around forever, and they hire good people. They hire the inventor of Audio Spotlight worked for Bose, Dr. Pompey. So
Wow.
There you go.
What about cost?
What about, excuse me?
Koss, K-O-S-S. It's either Bose or Koss, that white noise machine.
Oh yeah.
That everybody orders. They said to get those kind of headset.
Oh.
They are noise canceling, I think.
Personally, I think that a noise canceling headset may be part of the answer. The ones that I have been using are not noise canceling. However, the mics that I use are. So I'm gonna have to dig in my bag of tricks and see if I have a set still.
Because, like you said, the noise cancellation, these sounds that a lot of us can't hear with the human ear, can give us headaches and can make us grumpy and affect our emotions and make us not feel good because of the sound going into our ears.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that he had that sick machine, or if you, for lack of a better word, the puke machine, pardon my French, or my graphicness.
Oh, you're among friends here.
Yeah. Now, who would buy something? He said it's a prank, but who would buy something like that, you know?
Evil people.
It's
or
a
maybe
light.
retaliation.
It's as big as the beanie that the cops have on the top of the car, the red beanie. That's how big it is. I've seen it. They carried it in the front of the car, and then they were going in the house, and I was all set to break the car and get it because they used it on my dog, and I had taken the dog to the hospital. They're really dirtbags. But they came right back. They were going to the front door to go in, and they came right back, and they got it. So I seen it, and then I seen it again at the window. It has to go through, I think it has to go through the windows to get you. I don't think you can go through walls. It has to go through the windows. So beware of that. Get away from the beam.
Yeah, the shotgun I'm familiar with because Amazing Once was selling it. So I read up on it.
Shotgun?
It's a shotgun microphone. It's good for, I forget, what did he say, 300 or 400 feet, something like that? Actually, I think that one's...
Well, with everything they're building in these cars with the Siri and Alexa and other things, I'm not surprised at anything because my dog is, I don't know about you guys with your pets, but my dog is very reactionary when certain types of cars go by because it hurts her ears. Things we can't hear that bother her. Just like when I would go get my ultrasound done, she would be crying and screaming. So if they can feel it, and I know a lot of us are more ultra sensitive to sound. I know I am. even if other people can't hear it.
Yeah, I think that if they ever go to try and chip the population mandatorily, I think we have a good case for not being chipped. We were ultra sensitive to it.
Yeah, but then there won't be a way to get food, you know, everything else that they're already planning. You know, no food, no shelter, no services.
It's not going to be an all lifetime.
Oh yeah, well,
Yeah.
yep.
I think it will. Unfortunately, it's going that way.
It's not going to be an all lifetime. It's impossible. They don't have it all set up.
2 years.
Nah,
Well, I've been seeing it in the next 2 years.
So
Chinese, I think of it.
Angel just brought up in the chat about net neutrality. Okay, it's less than 48 hours in that we have to sign a petition. You'll find them in your email everywhere, probably by this time. But one of them that he mentioned was battleforthenet.com, and the other one is change.org. Now, I've already signed the change.org, but I'm going back and I'm going to grab the Battle for the Net. But it's something that should be signed, because if this goes through, you're going to be paying for Facebook. You're going to be paying for to turn your computer on.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I want to say something about that, Frank.
Go ahead.
So a petition may not help. If you go to battleforthenet.com, you can see what states the senators are, for overturning the FCC's vote that would end net neutrality, and that was done in December. And that's what this vote is on, on Wednesday, is to review it. So if you know anyone in a state that their senators or one of their senators is not for net neutrality, which means they're going to vote against the CRA, which will overturn the FCC's vote, then that's the most impact at this moment.
You should get Frank. You should get Warren. What's the name? Warren and Joe Kennedy on board.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if you go on that site and know someone in that state, they can just call, and there's a script right on that website, or they can send an email that's right on that website too, and it'll go right to the senators in their state. But I mean, it's obvious, that if I call my senators, or say I call a senator and say, say Florida, if they're against net neutrality, then it doesn't matter. It's pointless. They're not going to care. So it's best if they live in that state. A petition would help, but I mean, because it's 2 days away, it's not going to make much of a difference if they're against it. So. That's all I wanted to say.
Sure. Thank you, Angel. I agree with you 100%.
Rex, see who's got to make money.
Yeah.
Those companies, YouTube and whatever, Facebook.
In the chat, I'm seeing Facebook would die, and I tend to agree with Rex on that, because people will say, pay for Facebook? What are you talking about? But you'll actually be paying bundles of cash just to be able to use the net. And I think that's what they're trying to make happen, because they will isolate us from the net. In that case, we would not be able, unless a group of us got together and, purchased time or whatever. But it will get to that point. Comcast will double, just to give you an example, internet access would double and triple and quadruple in price, they would be able to basically name their price. You know, so only the rich people, incredibly rich people, would be able to get on the net.
Well, all the cable companies are merging together. I believe Comcast is bought out by Verizon, if I'm not mistaken. I think I read that. So they seem like subsidiaries, but they're still working under the same umbrella.
Yeah. I had no idea.
Planning on merging with Verizon.
Right.
And Sprint is merging with T-Mobile. That's why the service has been crappy.
And I think that's because they think net neutrality is going to end. And what net neutrality does is give censorship and right to information and selling your information, your online activity or anything to it'll give it to your internet provider, you know? So what would happen first is they're going to put slow lanes and fast lanes. So you're not going to be paying for access to the internet. You're going to be paying for speed, you know? And they'll slow down your website. If you have a business website or your Facebook account, they might slow it down for whatever reason, you know, and you'll never, you know, it'll probably take you 10 minutes just to log into Facebook. You're not going to use it, right? At that point. So I mean, that's how they would, you know, attack people at first is with censorship and slow lanes, unless you can afford it, you know. But
we pay for it now, Angel. I have to pay. For, you know, it's one bill, but it's for the internet, the phone, and the TV. So I'm paying for it now. And also, when I was looking for a refrigerator to match my stove, because I had to get a new stove because the stove was old and it didn't work. Well, I know what they do. They follow me, whatever you call them, and it took me a year, and finally I got the refrigerator. They actually emailed me, and it was Home Depot, and it was a special order. So I don't see anything wrong. If they want to follow me and take what we're looking for and then get it in an advertisement on the side, on the right-hand side, go right ahead. It saves us time. I don't know about the money because it was a special order, but it matches the stove, and that's how it's done. If I'm looking for a blouse and I put the description in, the next day you'll see all stores coming up on the side. That is it's the dimensions I said for the blouse, the color, the long sleeve. I don't see anything wrong in that. That's marketing. I don't see anything wrong in that, except for when
what he's
private.
saying is they'll jack everything up to the point that only the rich can afford the rich of everything.
Yeah,
I don't think so. All they're doing is tracking what you're looking for and showing it to you. Yeah,
but it's going to put small businesses at risk. You know, if they're going to have to pay more because they have a company website, even if it's a mom and pop shop, because, you know, they have customers in California that can't walk into their store on the East Coast, right? Well, they're going to have to pay a lot more for internet eventually because they have a business website. If not, they'll just slow them down and force them into it. They'll shake them down and say, you know, oh, everything's moving online anyway, so you're going to have to, you know, pay more to be online. It's a privilege, you know, not, you know, so it's just a shame what tax
corporations are getting tax exempt and the small businesses aren't.
Online now. That's where business is done. Macy's is going to close down and put it only on the online.
So new businesses are going to lose their right to a market that's free and fair because they're going to have to buy into internet fees. It's going to be something else that they need to, you know, pay for, and they can censor everything or their customers. So you're going to have to cater to the rich. Everyone's going to have to cater to the people that can pay for you know, online access, you know, at fast speeds than slow, because if you don't have a fast speed internet, right, they can put you on the slowest lane, and now you can't use Amazon unless, hey, you don't have nothing to do, because it's going to take you 30 minutes just to search for something, because it takes, you know, 3 minutes for each page to load up now instead of, you know, 30 seconds. So you know, it kind of sucks, and that's pretty much what's going to happen. If it stays this way, you know.
Angel, you can't stop technology. You can't do it.
Oh no!
Well, let me just say this. Let me tell you, if Amazon's losing 38% of its business because people are loading too slowly, I guarantee you that will change in about 44 minutes. He will not let that happen. I mean, if big
they may not slow.
You know, customers are going to be losing money from this, let me tell you, they will change this immediately. It's all
they may
about
not
the
slow
money.
down Amazon. They may not slow down Amazon, but they're going to slow down someone else who's trying to enter the internet market or introduce their product.
That's
you know, it's going to force them to sell it to Amazon. You know, so I mean, I'm a business. I have a business mentality, and this is so against.
It is.
Regular,
of course, it is.
Democratic capitalism. I mean, it's horrible. But you know, that's why I'm pro net neutrality and wouldn't want to see it go away. But you know, I understand your you know, what everyone says on the phone, you know, but you know,
but I also guarantee you that if the people, which I think are the most important, us, complain in millions, and it will affect millions, that's another source. Either your business people complaining, or the millions, it will change. And I'll tell you, let me say something. I have noticed, and I know you guys have too, that Google is in trouble, Amazon is in trouble, Facebook is in trouble. I don't know if you've read about them, but if you read about them individually, they're all having problems. They're trying to, the monopoly, and I cannot believe that one person of import has not said, what about these monopolies? We must start breaking them up. You have three of the biggest in the world ever, and nobody's even saying a word about the monopoly. I mean, that's in our laws and the antitrust law. I can't believe it.
And some of those same people that were in high positions in those corporations have left to go to Europe to work for other corporations over there. So yeah, to your point.
Well, I'll tell you, there is going to be a pressure release on this. I really believe, because the reason why they break up monopolies is because they can screw the people. And the minute the people get squeezed so financially, they will either totally pull back and there won't be any business, or there's going to be a revolt, especially with the internet. That's everybody's little sacred cow. We all have our little special places. And if we can't get there, there's going to be hell to pay somewhere, somehow.
And it's not just those companies creating monopolies. Sinclair Broadcasting is buying off news media stations. You know,
I know.
So that's another thing that's violating laws put in place to, you know, to protect the integrity of the news and not control the people via the news, you know, and it's being violated if the merger does happen or if it happened already. I haven't kept much up with that, but
well, they have turned down a couple big mergers, and this is a huge one, so we'll see what happens here. But I'll tell you, people rile up because if you get a monopoly, they can squeeze you because you have no other choice. That's when people get angry. Is when you interfere with their little world, their little microcosm that was working, and all of a sudden they cannot get to where they want to go. I don't know. I think it's something's gonna happen.
Well, people are either gonna wake up and, you know, fight for their rights or stay sleeping. I mean, I hope they all wake up.
Well, am I the only one who is noticing the censorship all over?
No.
I mean, what are people doing? I mean, what are they thinking?
I tend to agree 100% with you in that if a company like Amazon is losing money because of an internet condition, that will definitely be rectified.
So, but
Say.
imagine if I can access Amazon, right, at a normal speed, right? But then I go to another website where I see my news and it's really, really slow. So then you're being censored, right? So that's kind of, the problem, that so I mean, and they can do that when it goes to the telephone companies. The FCC can't do that, but when that power goes to the telephone companies, they'll have the power to decide individually on people based on what they choose, what the person chooses to pay or not. So you're gonna use online just to buy. Oh, you pay this price. This is what we recommend. Kind of like cable companies do, because that's who it's going to, the cable companies. So, if you're gonna go online for the news, well, you can go on MSNBC or Fox News, but no other ones. You got to pay extra if you want to go to the other ones. That's kind of what's going to end up happening, because they're going to just slow down your internet.
Well, I tell you, people are getting so squeezed.
They are.
Everybody at every age level, and I just don't think they're going to take it. They will just stop the subscriptions. People are getting out of cable because, for example, here, Spectrum has just bought out Time Warner. And of course, they up everything, and the calls, and on my neighborhood, my neighborhood site in my neighborhood, everybody's complaining. Now, everybody's dropping cable and going to Dish. So people are reacting. And you squeeze them on the internet where they buy stuff or, make reservations or whatever, they're not going to do those subscriptions. I'll tell you something, they will cancel them.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Me too.
Plus the cost of gas. Now, the cost of gas is your bottom line. It's energy. And when the energy, and it's getting hot summertime, and your electrical and your gasoline goes up, people are not going to be in a very good mood. And this affects everybody in this country.
What's the racket?
Oh, that's just someone typing.
Oh. Well, can you please stop typing in my ear?
Do you have a key in your ear?
It's a retard perk, trying to disrupt.
He's making me laugh, Frank. I needed that.
Oh, there's so much stuff going on. I mean, not only are you targeted, but we have to put up with all this BS as well.
Yeah, that's true.
So we have the common everyday problems that we have to take care of, and then just dump targeting on top of that, and have a cup of coffee and a smoke. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but listen, the minute people start canceling their trips because the energy is too high,
and
then they stay home and they cannot get their internet.
Right.
And they turn on the light, and they're turned off because the meter says they've used too much electricity. Oh, we're starting to boil here. And it's not even racial. They haven't thrown that out. Well, who knows? They may throw that out or something. But it's too much. It's going to be too much. And, this Congress we have, they're just letting everything go through, and it makes me sick. They have no balls, excuse me.
Well, it depends upon the lobby. And we have to hunt down this. Okay, caller number 6. You've got something happening there. A lot of noise is coming through.
Is it me? Is it me, Frank?
No, that's not you. I just muted it. When you get that squared away, feel free to unmute and speak. It was just like right in your ear, So it must be a microphone too close to something, possibly.
We were talking about censorship on the internet.
Yeah.
that happened about 5, 6 years ago, maybe 7. Government went on there. Not that I'm saying anything bad about the government, but they were on the internet and they took off a lot of stuff on electronic harassment. I mean, that's fact, because I should have bought what I found, but I was trying to be economical and I didn't buy it. And they took a lot, everything to do with that I know of electronic harassment. That's why we can't find the answers that we look for. You got to dig and dig and dig, and you'll never find the answers. So there's been censorship, you know, all along, and that's who does it. Try fighting them.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's what we're doing now with this. I'm still fighting.
Well, there are a lot of people, lots of people leaving Facebook, and I went down my Facebook thing, and 3 people were on Facebook jail. I don't know what Facebook jail is.
Facebook jail.
But the kind of people who would be in Facebook jail, you know?
I know that. Wow.
Are those people talking about electronic harassment or torture? Electronic harassment, torture? Maybe that's what. Could that be it?
Could be.
I have a feeling it's going to be really hot summer and there's going to be a lot of power outages this year. I just think it's going to be a record heat year. When you had your power outages, Frank, was it more than 24 hours when, you know, it was cold and icy in the winter?
Yeah. It was just about, yeah, it was over 24 hours.
That makes me a little bit nervous. Well, it can affect so many different things.
Yeah.
Hospitals.
Amy, you need to move your microphone or your phone so that.
Okay, I'll turn it off speaker.
Yeah,
we can't hear you.
Because you're coming
mumbly.
Yeah, muffly.
Yeah, really muffled.
Hello?
We're here.
Hello? Oh, okay. Dykeman, get off my phone.
Who's Dykeman? Is he the guy?
It's the perp. Yeah, it's the perp across the street.
Okay.
Yep, I heard clicking on my phone. He's such a dick, you know?
They do that just to aggravate you, huh?
Oh, yeah, Jesus. I think the whole thing is to aggravate.
Do you have Apple, Susan, or do you have Android?
No, I don't have a cell phone. That's
okay.
out.
All right.
I have a computer, but no cell phone.
Okay. Well, that's good.
I just can't take any more of the infiltration and surveillance. I just can't do it. So I do without it. If I get into a jam outside, I just get out of the car and say to people, "Can I borrow your cell phone?" They go, "Sure." So I find it better like that.
Yeah, a lot of people do. EMF Linda just has a landline. She won't buy a cell phone or have anything to do with it.
Smart.
Yeah, I have wireless and landline.
Yeah, as soon as it gets to the point where, I don't need it, the iPhones go. I'm just going to get a flip phone because it's just crazy expensive, ridiculous.
Okay, a mobile phone, Frank. A mobile phone. Remember years and years ago they said mobile phones. So I thought that a cell phone and a mobile phone is 2 different things. It's not, is it?
Well,
they were when they were installed in the cars. Remember, you could only get them if they were installed in an expensive car.
They had FM, old FM phones in cars. Because I looked at a car that I wanted to buy, back in the 90s, and it had twin phones in the back seat, and I was trying to figure out what they were, but they were actually FM phones. They weren't actually.
Huh.
I don't know how you connect with them, but they weren't cell phones.
Well, maybe it goes over FM radio.
No, it's like the police radios are FM. The marine system of communication is FM. It's sort of like CB, only it's not CB, it's FM.
And what is a ham radio? What is that? What kind of frequency is that?
I'm not sure the exact frequency of what a ham radio is, but it's microwave or short wave, very short wave.
Yeah, they use it. I've seen it. I've seen it twice.
Oh, that's
Have you?
one.
I know that.
Yes,
Oh yeah, recently too. The guy had it in a leather case strapped to his wrist, and he had a leather coat on. He looked like he was going to ride a horse. I know he was a perp because I've seen them before. He had the hat too. Oh my God, was he hysterical?
That small? I thought they were big.
Yeah, he was following me in the store, and I seen it. He had a cell phone also, and I said, "You better get the F away from me with that fucking cell phone." And he did. He went running. When you pin them out, they run. That's the safest way he ever did, because I would have went right for him. Now, then I see my neighbor, not Dickman, across the street, two houses down. They have so many people going in and out of their house. He came out when they put that booster on my wire. Ugly guy. Looked Polish to me, ugly looking son of a bitch. And I'm looking out my window and I see him with the ham radio. I says, "Oh, you son of a bitch." So that's twice. But I already knew they use ham radio from years ago. But to see it is better. So everybody go and get a ham radio and start clicking away.
They're expensive, aren't they?
Well, I seen a vintage one. The asshole that was dressed up like a cowboy, he had a vintage one. He had it in a case. I already looked that up online. And the other dirtbag that was hammering on it, looking up at that thing, that booster, his was vintage too. The vintage are the big ones.
Do you have to have a license for those?
I think you don't have to have anything, but you better know the frequency you're doing.
You have to have,
Frank?
well, for ham radios, there is a license required for sure.
That's right, there is.
Yeah.
I don't think these people have it, though.
Oh,
do they come and arrest you if you don't?
Oh, the FCC, they're very, very powerful people. So I'm not,
Yeah.
or at least they used to be anyway.
Remember that one lady that we had, Wanda, I think her name was, or something. She worked for the FCC. I haven't heard from her again. She was in DC.
Everything's illegal without a license for us, but not for them.
Exactly. You can't buy any of this jamming equipment because it's illegal. Oh, you can't buy that. Well, what do you mean? Well, it's illegal. Well, what about the stuff that they're doing? Is that illegal?
Yeah.
Oh well, we don't have any laws yet to deal with that. That's basically what it's about.
We're protected under whatever.
Massachusetts has got a law against it. I'll throw a link in the chat. I'll just throw the mass law up on screen here as soon as I find it.
I'm wondering those 11 states that are trying out 5G, if they're experiencing like severe health problems and whatnot.
I hear a lot of different ideas on what's going to happen with this 5G, but
I mean, they're already trying it out in 11 different states.
Well, what you have to do is forget about having your cell phone even in the same room while you sleep, you know.
Wow.
It's just bad news altogether. All right, let me see.
I did find a little information out just because I don't use a cell phone don't mean that I don't do research, because I am doing a lot of research on this cell phone shit.
Yeah, that's good. That's
And
good.
this is what it tells me. A smart cell phone can, of course, use the booster to boost its signal. We all know that. And also can get on the internet. Like I always said, they can get on the internet and an iPad.
Really?
Oh, that's what yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. Oh, also, I guess you could put, if you get the app, you could put your brain waves in there. Not yours, really.
Oh.
You know. Yeah. I mean, I got the picture and everything, Frank. I'll send it to you.
Yeah,
That's
please
a new
do.
thing. That's a new thing with Emotive. Remember I was telling you about Emotive?
Yes.
Well, Emotive come out where it's going to be hooked up to the cell phone, and you see a brain on the cell phone, and then you wonder why I told you they get off frequencies. That's how they get off frequency. Now that brain is not their brain; it's our brain, and then bango, we get targeted. But I'll send it to you, Frank.
Okay. I appreciate that. I got to get, I'm going to grab that off our site. I just realized that's the easiest place to get it.
I'm seeing a lot of young guys with Lou Gehrig's disease that play baseball from the East Coast that are getting Lou Gehrig's, and they were showing how they had computers set up where they could actually just because they couldn't move, they couldn't even talk, but they would think something, and the computer, they could look up things on the computer with just thinking it, so it interfaced with their brain somehow. And that is the way it's set up with Facebook that they're already been working on, the telepathy. That's how it's going to work. So I don't know how they'll be able to monitor that.
I really, it's starting to get to the point where things are really getting scary.
Really scary.
Yes, they are, Frank.
Almost like I wish I wasn't born in this era.
Yeah.
Okay, I found a link. But this is the Massachusetts law. So you can compare it to laws in your own states. But that's the Massachusetts law anyway. So has anybody got anything new going on? Or I know the targeting's enough, but there's usually a new aspect to it. I know that there's a lot of people saying that they're really getting beat up lately, signal-wise, being very strong. And we're also seeing different types of physical attributes coming out. Now, I don't know whether the perps are getting more stuff or... And I'm getting somebody in the chat, yeah, V2K 24/7. Well, yeah, that's the way it seems to run. 24/7, 365 days a year. They don't take Christmas off, New Year's, or anything.
I get a lot of V2K, a lot of it when I'm sleeping. They wake me up. I hear them in my head asking me questions. Yeah, and I slipped on one. They always ask me, what do I have? They're afraid that I'm going to turn them in. I hear them and begging not to turn me in. Don't turn us in. Don't turn us in. Okay, so that should tell you something.
Oh yeah, well they're all starting to freak a little bit because things are starting to get hot and heavy as things like emotive and things like that are coming to the surface more and more.
Yep. Well, we got to find out how, how to stop it.
Well, we have to be able to track it first, and that's what we have not been able to do. See, if Dr. Staninger and some of the other people that are, telling you what you actually have and where it is, okay, that's great. How are you tracking it? But I guess what they're doing is they have the frequency of the particular satellite, and that's how they're hooking it up. Dr. Staninger does, anyway. But we need to be able to track it.
Well, they're doing a lot of cell phone towers. From the diagrams that I with the cell phone that I just told you, with the brain stuff and they get onto the internet. It's the towers, Frank. The towers.
Yeah.
Frank.
The towers.
I'm sorry, she's still talking.
No, go ahead.
I have the floor. Okay, I think that the investigation should start with a TI, yeah? After all, we are this, what you call antenna, you know? We are the one who sticks out, and what we can do is just investigate every TIs and question them and see from their experiences and who hates them, who dislikes them, and how often it's a gang stalking, if they ever. But how can you do that when your perpetrators is inside your head? So, but I think there will be a very, very obvious happening in there that when it started, they just don't pick you to become a perpetrator. To become a TI. There has to be a reason why. Because if they keep going into your head and they're all the time and live inside your head all this time, they are interested in something. All you got to do is, I think, in my opinion, as a TI and still a TI right now, having a hard time with my perp, you can practically, follow them as they follow you. You can spy on them as they spy on you, put it this way. Perpetrators are usually talking and thinking and talking and thinking, and they can connect to you in so many ways. My perps, let me see, what they do is they're all connected with each other. And I have not seen the device myself, but through experience, all these perpetrators are connected to me because I can hear them all. Okay? I have not seen how it's done, and I'd like to see that real thing in front of me. And I want to actually, if it's not illegal, want to buy it, to see it myself and to test it. Okay? But one thing that we have to do, I think, is, or you have to do, or anybody has to do who's really concerned and had enough of this electromagnetic BS that's coming into this world, is to investigate the TI first. Investigate or interview, should we say, and question them and ask them. By questioning them, you also see on their mentality, on where they're coming from, or if it's true or not true, okay? Because in the first place, there's also already 1% schizophrenia, and that's why they think that you're crazy, or who touched you, who's talking to you, you know? So I think, whoever is concerned to help the TI is to question the TI themselves, to clear themselves, if you may say it with the doctors or even with talking with you. And after that, after you clear that they are in a clear mind and they are sane as they can be, then follow up and see who's actually, the TIs will know their perps, okay? They may change voices, but in the long run, how bad the perps has done to the TI, there is what you call the voice analyzer if it's reported, depending on how much TI has suffered, okay? I don't think, and I cannot let, as small as I am person, I'm not rich, I am the poorest one, and I'm still a victim, and my money is still stolen, my government help are still stolen. I think that I live alone by myself too. and that is an advantage to them.
What country are
So
you
I
in?
think you have to question the TIs first, and then after that, that would lead on to these people. Yeah? And I don't know if that will help at all. And yes, we do need some gadgets because we cannot get close to the perps. Voice analyzation by somebody who would help, like maybe the police or the detectives can help. Yeah, because my perps changes their voice. Their voice is male and female. Okay. So I don't know if that could help you. And thank you for allowing me to talk.
What country are you from? What country are you from?
U.S. Rhode Island.
Are you from the United States?
I'm here in U.S. right now. Yes, I'm from the United States.
Okay,
I'm
because you
here.
have the
I'm
heavy
here.
accent. I didn't. Well, I can tell you how they're doing it. It's from computer, even on the cell phone. I would say more from a computer in the house or a laptop, and it's called the Hub, H-U-B. So you should look it up on the internet. That's how they connect to each other. You see what he just put up? What I'm pissed off about? The boosting the signal. Okay, it was a private contractor, which I already stated on Frank's call.
Ma'am?
It was a private contractor. So what does the booster do? It boosts the guy down the block, around the corner, maybe a quarter of a mile away. So how they connect is through the computer to the main Dick across the street, Dickman.
Okay, ma'am. What about what they call the ISP? If they go online for this, then they should discover it, because most of your perps, if you have a computer, they are connected to your computer. My computer was sabotaged. I ended up renting with the rent center, and it's still followed. Okay, hackers know what they do.
Your computer. I see for teaching.
They have the knowledge
they're not
too,
connected
okay?
to your computer. They're connecting
no,
to
no. I'm not talking about that, ma'am. I'm talking about.
I know what I'm talking about. They're connecting to the handler, because he has all your brain frequencies. It's done from your brain frequencies. So now the guy around the corner, down the block, half a mile away, he connects. He gives money. I know there's money involved, to Dick Face across the street, and now he can access your brain, and he could do you from afar, a quarter of a mile, I'm going to say, maybe a mile. And now another one connects. Now you got two. Another one connects. Now you got three. And if you look on the computer, you get a head start on how they do it, and it's called the Hub. How does 3-4 people get together on one computer? It's called the Hub. All right? So that'll give you a hint of how they're getting to your brain.
I guess the perpetrators have their own ways, ma'am. Thank you for explaining me that.
So Robert Duncan.
Explanation accepted.
Yeah, Robert Duncan, too, tried to explain that in his book. It's called the Hub.
All I'm going to say is perpetrators are different, and they have the different ways.
Well, it's actually pretty uniform. Around the world, it seems to be the same, seamless. You can travel from one state, go 10 states away, like Brian.
Yeah, signals are pretty much the same.
Yeah, Brian too goes around the world, and he gets hammered wherever he goes by virtually the same people. So I happen to believe that it's, as Susan said, the perp computer to the dark web, to the satellite, and to you. That's what I believe how the scenario will play out.
Well, I went to Europe, Frank.
Yeah,
and I was in. Now I'm not lying to you. I have no business on this phone lying. I'm not getting my jollies off.
Nope.
I'm going to tell you the truth, and I've been trying to tell people this. Some of them listen. We all met at one person's house, and then the limo came to pick us up. There was about 7 of us in the limo. Me being a jackass had to sit by the window, and I just happened to turn around. The limo driver's starting the car up, and I look to the right of me because I'm by the window. Swear to God, strike me dead if I'm lying to you. That dick was in a SUV. He wasn't driving. He was the passenger, and he had 2 guys in the back and then driver, and then him. 4 people in the car. So what am I supposed to do? Yell and scream? I can't do nothing. I'm in a limo with people that don't even know about targeting. So as the guy's pulling away the limo driver, I get hit in the stomach. Real hard, too. I said, oh, what was that all about? I'll tell you what that was about. That was getting my frequency. That wasn't just hitting me for a pleasure, because I got targeted in the airplane like I was a crazed animal. I couldn't talk. I couldn't do anything. Just sit there with this pain. And you don't want to know where the pain was, because that I'm not telling you. Yeah, it was pretty nightmarish. So my friend Anna, who was targeted, you know, with the V2K, she says, I can see your face. You are suffering. I says, yeah. She says, let me put the movie on for you. Yeah, I says, okay. But that's how they do it. They don't have to sit in the plane. They just hit you. They get your frequency. That's it. It's over. Simple as that. So here I'm in Europe. Everything was going fine, but at nighttime it was not going fine. I could not sleep. But I still had a great time.
Was that recently?
That was in 2013.
Oh. There's a lot of things that happened in 2013, I noticed.
Yeah.
People should look at Skitsit Gesture. She's got a video about how they get your frequency. Wonderful, wonderful woman. Her and Neil did that. They explained it.
I think
they showed the
do
guy.
Number 6, because you add 2, 3, and 1, it adds up to 6. That's there's numerology you have to do it. 2013.
Well, why I remember that is because my son passed away in 2014. And 2013 he stayed there watching the dogs. Thank you.
I'm so sorry for that. Well, he's protecting you. He's watching out for you.
Yeah, I do believe so, too. But on a lighter note, I'm gonna blow dry my hair because I took a shower and I can't go to bed with a wet head. So it was nice speaking to all of you, but I'm getting off. Goodbye, Frank. Thanks for the call.
Hey, you can't leave that quick. All right.
I gotta go. My hair's soaking wet.
Okay, go dry it and come back. All right. We'll see you later.
Next time. Ciao.
All righty. Night. She's really a really not a loose cannon. She's really gets to the point, and sometimes, and but she really is funny sometimes, because she's really adamant that she wants to go over and beat the guy across the street, and I don't blame her a bit. Because I guess something will happen to her, and you know, he'll come out of his house and put his hands on his hips or something like that. You know, it's sort of like you know, admitting that it's him, and that's the first time I've ever really seen anything like that. You know, you know, except for when my own targeting began. So, I mean, they were blatant about it. You know.
You mean people that live near you, or
above me? Well, you know, I'm lying on the couch watching TV, and I'm looking, and there's this white stream of powder landing like on my hand or close to it. Well, it's a guy upstairs disturbed some plaster, and it came down through the hole that they had drilled where they were actually watching. See,
oh my gosh!
Oh yeah, this started out as peeping toms is what they were, because they even had holes above the toilet. I mean, how
Oh
rude can
my
you get?
God.
You know?
How pathetic.
Oh yeah. No, not just one, but like 8 holes, 1/8 inch holes above the toilet. It's like, let's get a full view of the bathroom, you know? And
That's really something else.
my youngest was 15 at the time, I think. And she is now, God, 23.
Did she know about it at the time?
Well, we found out the hard way. But then I went down cellar, you know, and I heard this voice, and I'm saying, okay, well, there's got to be a bug right there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I took whatever it was, I took it apart. There was a pipe with some other stuff on it, and I took it apart, you know. And well, I never found anything, so that was pretty much the end of that. Then they were starting to say that there were, you know, printed circuit board type bugs all over the house and all this stuff. And you know, I took my car apart. The first time I found out that it was actually following me was in my own car, and I took my car. I pulled into a Dunkin' Donuts, and I literally took the interior out of it almost. I'm looking all over the place for stuff that wasn't there naturally. So I've heard of other people actually doing the same thing, but you know, I was I mean, I'm saying, well, I'm going to get this thing, you know, and so I took oh God, the inside panels off, and there was nothing there, you know, and the sound's still coming from there, but there's nothing there. And they swear up and down that it was manual back then, and that there were things there, but there's nothing in the car.
Yeah, it's pretty sneaky that this technology that we're just finding out about now. It's been like over 100 years in the making that we're just finding out.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been so far advanced that we didn't even know.
That's what a lot of people don't understand. And it really takes you a while to wrap your head around it, because you've got technology that is leaps and bounds ahead of, you know, anything that we have in our own consumer, you know, audio or within devices that we can use until recently. And that's the stuff is starting to come to the surface. So I'm quite pleased with that. And as I am sure everyone else is.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm starting to see some breakthroughs, and that makes me happy.
Yeah.
But maybe a little here and there.
Yeah, it was great to have Scott on. We'll have to have him on again when we can build a show around, you know, him coming on, and we can do that on a Sunday.
I'd like it to be like a kind of like if we could do a pre-interview before the interview.
Yeah.
To get some really good questions, looking up on the site, and you know, kind of asking the questions that most of us forget or don't know what to ask about, so that we can kind of prepare people for things that is beyond our average knowledge, and kind of build on that, because he's so knowledgeable on so many levels. And just looking into the game theory aspect, you know, he's a big gamer.
Yes, yes.
So that plays into the military, and that's how they start all these weapons. Is everything starts from a toy or a game. And I've seen it in the Radio Shacks way back when. After I came back from the military, I saw it in Target, all these little flying insect-looking things, and I would ask the guy, you know what this is? And I wasn't going to tell him. I wanted to see what he knew as a civilian. And I said, no, from a military aspect, can you explain to me? And then he did explain to me, and I said, yeah, that's not all. Let me tell you. Or better yet, let me show you. So
Yeah.
that's when they went out of, they so-called went out of business. Toys R Us went out of business because they want to hide these telepathy toys for kids. They want to hide these, flying drone, butterfly-looking things and beetles that look like that really are half human and half robotic. They aren't just looking like it. They really are before they hatch. When they're in the cocoon state, they said it was robotic. So you don't know when it's flying by your head or your window. You think it's just, a bug, a butterfly.
Yeah, the first time I ever saw a drone, it was a small toy helicopter. It was probably 8 inches long, and you could fly it with this little remote control. Then all of a sudden, bam, you see these drones that'll stay aloft for 2 hours with a camera, and I'm saying, oh, what the. So this
Well,
stuff.
I'd like to get some use telescopes. Because I know these drones, they're not stars. They're just too bright and they don't move. I know that they are, and I'm just curious to know what they look like and if they have a tail number on them, because they have to. They only have a tail number just like an aircraft.
The only ones that I've seen were actually a police drone was on display at a school event. And it was probably, I want to say 4 or 5 by 5 by 5 by 5, with 4 fans on it, and it was pretty big and heavy looking to me, but that's as big as I've ever seen anything, except for the conventional government drones that are can be 40 feet long, all the way down to
If anybody wants to go with me, I'll take them down to Nellis Air Force Base, 3 hours away, and Vandenberg Air Force Base, and I'll show them whatever they want to see. In fact, since SpaceX keeps sending up rockets from Vandenberg, which is only about 3 hours away from here, that's going to continue. Not Virgin Mobile, Richard Branson with Virgin, Jeff Bezos with Amazon.
Yeah.
When I looked at those futuristic time travelers, they predicted it, and they were right on the money that those are going to be the billionaires, not just in tech, but space travel, like what they're doing, going to Mars, setting up space stations there. They found water there, so I've seen many movies that were to do with that, to see if it was sustainable. They do have a space station there on Mars. And on the moon too, but on the moon there really isn't anything sustainable, from what I know. What do I know? So if they want to destroy our planet, that's what they're planning to do, is slowly eradicate of all the resources, people being one of the resources, and extract every resource they can, and do a slow kill, and then, go to another planet. But I believe most of these Illuminati people, the Committee of 300, I really believe that they're not human, which is why they're doing what they're doing. And that Mr. Green guy that I told you about in his meetings, what they talk about. George Green.
Oh, yeah, right.
So it's kind of in line with not being fearful, but trying to foil their plans, which we have been doing as a nation. And maybe not just us as the United States, but other countries too, but other countries also send up satellites. If you think for a minute that what happened in Cuba and what happens in space is just the United States, you're sadly mistaken. That's what the United States wants you to think. They don't want you to think Russia, Iran, and China and Japan are sending up satellites and that have embassies in Cuba, because that's a great island, it's in the Caribbean, great hiding space for, international waters that they can hide all their secrets, as we can too. That's why Gitmo was the perfect place to put prisoners. Why they would pick Gitmo and not anywhere else was the perfect hiding spot, that they could hide all their secrets and torture and their money in the Cayman Islands right there, all the wealthy people. Perfect place to hide in plain sight. I'm wondering if there's been any new developments with what happened in Cuba, and I'm sure that other places, those sonic type weapons probably happened elsewhere since then, probably not just there. Maybe they just went unreported. Because I know in Canada it happens quite often. Even in Michigan, where I'm from, it happens quite often.
Well, there's a lot we don't know, but we're learning too. We know a lot more than we did.
Yeah. It's a good thing we're learning, and that we're all collaborating our ideas, whether we agree with them or not. It's good to have an open forum to open up that Pandora's box to, what could be. As crazy as something may sound, it may not be that crazy. So I'm open to whatever.
Yeah.
There's a lot of wealthy people. That's how they started out with, crazy things. Like a new guy that's headed up Apple, that took over Steve Jobs' job. They started out in a little garage. And I remember when I worked at HP, they'd go over and over, they'd show that picture of that little garage, when we'd have our meeting. But it's gotten out of hand. But we can do those same kind of things, things that seem off the wall ideas that we can implement and we can talk about and research and look into, things that seem far-fetched that we could possibly beat this.
Yeah, we had a research call on Sunday, and the first 2 weekends, I think, we got a lot of stuff done. And after that, it's like we get sidetracked and sidetracked and sidetracked because, people want to talk about something different. But, had to come forward quite a few times and say, hey, this is a research call. We're trying to get some, find some answers here. And we each chose like a topic that we wanted to research. And like Angel was one, and Ashley was another. And I think you were on there once or twice. I don't know whether I can't really remember. That was quite a while ago now. But there's a lot of things that we can look into. And I'll be back in like 2 seconds. And just unmute. Feel free to talk. Right back. Hello. Hi.
I'm here. I don't know if anyone else is.
Need somebody to stir things up around here.
I know.
You know what it is? I'm not used to having a guest come on that early and leave that early, you know? But that's okay.
Yeah.
Catch him next time. Yeah, I was.
Well, how about Michael Barden? You could try to get him on.
Now,
Air Force fighter guy who was born at Area 42.
Michael Barden, huh? I remember you talking about him.
Yeah, he has YouTube every day. I found him several months ago. I responded to him, and I didn't put the phone number to call us, but he gives an update on his legal battles. Cause
was it you that suggested Kevin Shipp?
No, I don't know who Kevin Shipp is.
He's NSA whistleblower too.
I don't know who he is, but that name sounds familiar. Somebody else said. The other one is that Emery Smith guy that worked at Sandia Labs and Kirkland Air Force Base, Air Force. He would be another good one. He gets in his, he's got that 5-volume interview with David Wilcox today, maybe, to do with all the hybridization projects that he worked on.
Yeah.
And that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a lot of non-human entities that are doing this evil stuff, along with the humans. Using humans as slaves. I noticed when I watched that one channel, people buying houses.
Yeah.
There's a ton of people buying houses in the Caribbean.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing that gets me is
like right after that storm.
Yeah.
Puerto Rico's still trying to recover.
Yeah, Ryan's asking me how to tastefully reveal the names of his perps. And I just said Facebook. Yeah, and yeah, Ryan, they would hate that, trust me. Hate that. He's saying, yeah, they say they'd love that. No, they would definitely hate that. How would you like to get plastered all over Facebook when you were a perp? I don't think I like that too much. What's new? What's new out in California, Amy?
What's new? I've been seeing an awful lot of strange weather stuff like chemtrails. In fact, when I looked up to see about these so-called toxins that they're spraying in the air, apparently, I told you in Hawaii it's illegal to use sunscreen because you would destroy the coral reef habitat. Well, lately they've been talking about how great algae is. What grows on the coral reef? Algae. Algae is supposed to be the cure-all. And, okay, so we don't care about human life, but we care about marine life. We don't care if you get cancer in Hawaii. They will probably soon be either giving us watered down versions of sunscreen, or making me think it's sunscreen and it's not sunscreen at all. But it will be banned. You can bet your money it will be banned here too. When I looked at these particles, these toxins they were talking about that were not just polluting agriculture, so they could basically stamp out, people who are profiting off of it and have only the George Soros and the rich people that are doing the destroying of the crop. But these particles also block out sunlight. So imagine for a minute they're spraying in certain areas, or they spray across the whole United States. We could have another ice age. No, nothing would grow. Animals will die because they feed off the land. You see where I'm going with this?
Oh yeah, I can say.
This is bigger than what I thought. Just seeing a little blip about outlying sunscreen in Hawaii when they're having the volcanoes there. That I'm sure all those clouds from the gases, the harmful gases, that if that's not going to kill people, it too can block out the sun. When there's fires, it blocks out the sun, like there was fires here. When they do the 5G, that probably will cause things to cause fires to burn things down because the grids will be just so overloaded. And I'm just thinking worst case scenario. That may not happen, but we have to think of the consequences. It was something that I saw that there was a write-up about it. It was called Scorched Earth. And in the Bible, it talks about us in the final days. We won't die by a flood. It will be by fire. Well, not that we'll die, but the earth will die. Well, hopefully we'll be gone before then. But for those of us that may still be here, we may be witness to that. And, I just have to pray and hope, that God knows best and He does what He's going to do, and that He protects the innocent ones that don't have evil intentions, and that the evil ones have evil intentions, turn from their ways. And if they don't, that He's the punisher, not me. And I don't want to be a hater.
No, we just have to.
We don't like it.
We just have to direct our activity towards, like I say, more reading, trying to locate directionally these frequencies, and that's
it still angers me, really. I mean, I'm like the mama bear. I still have a lot of anger and rage issues about all this stuff. What they're doing.
Oh, everybody, yeah, so do I. Everybody does, and I know that you get overtaken or overwhelmed every once in a while. Everybody does, and it really is a total drag. I've never seen anything like this. I know. We all keep saying that, but it's just whacked.
That's why if money was not an issue, I would love to go to Europe and other countries like my brother is right now doing to go pick up his $225,000 Porsche 911 from the factory in Germany, so he can race it all around France and Austria and Germany and have a good time.
The Grand Prix?
So he's the one. He's the one profiting off of all of this that that I believe that he's done to me and my dead father and my mother. I believe he's the one common denominator, like a lot of other people have said about a family member who was involved. And I from the beginning, I had an inclination that he was from the time I was just little, just by the things I've seen develop. And I can't you know, I don't want to hate him, but at the same time, I'm sad that God would allow that to happen. And maybe my perception is wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But in my heart of hearts, in my spirit, that's what I perceive.
Yep.
My heart grieves for that, you know, it really does. That I can't talk about how horrible my situation is because it does no good. I couldn't afford for Mother's Day, but I did anyway, which meant that I couldn't go get groceries. So I did send my mom and my sister-in-law a bouquet of Sherry's berries, chocolate-covered strawberries, because I couldn't get to the store to get a card. And it pains me, all these things, that I miss out on all these things and that I haven't been home in over 10 years. But, you know, I don't want to make it about, you know, being whiny. You know, I'm thankful for the simple things, like, you know, the roof over my head, the friendship, you know, and if I have just enough to eat, even if it's top ramen, you know, that I have to be okay with that. That those that are living the lavish lifestyle, you know, that's God's department. He's going to judge, you know, them based on their gluttony, their, you know, not thinking about other people and just caring about living it up. And again, I don't want to be a hater. I just know that He's a just God. That our suffering here on earth is going to be minuscule compared to the joy we're going to have up there. We're going to have a party. It's going to be a huge party. I know it.
Massive.
I know if I had not had those supernatural experiences that I've had in my life of Him showing me what's real and what's not, I don't know that I would feel this way, that there is life beyond this, that death is just an illusion. And what we're living in is an illusion too. It is kind of an illusion. You know, what we see and what we feel, what we think, it's not all there is. There's much, much more in the good way. We just aren't allowed to see it yet, but we will. And I think that goes for anybody that God created, no matter how bad we sinned or swore like a sailor like I have, or, you know, meant to retaliate back to someone, you know, that He knows that we're up against great, great evil. You know, so He knows that in our heart that we're not evil, that we mean for good, but our frustration gets to a boiling point and we just, you know, fight back.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're fighting back here right now.
People.
Yeah, that's what I've
all
noticed.
Good people, you know, fly up the handle or not, you know, we're all good people. And everybody has the right attitude and the right, you know, the loving spirit deep inside, you know, through all this torture and unrighteousness that's being done to us. So, you know, for everyone, whether I agree with them, whether I like them or not, you know, I love them because God has been merciful enough to love me for all my problems and all my idiosyncrasies and my shortcomings. So
this is another one I brought with me. Unless it's
everybody has love in their heart. And for all the suffering each person, every TI is going through, God is going to vindicate that. I know it. Whether we see it in this lifetime or in the next, He is going to vindicate. Whether somebody believes in God or not, it is.
Yeah, you're right, Amy. 100%.
Okay, that's what I hang on to when I get really pissed off. And I just don't talk to anyone because it's like nothing good's going to come out of my mouth. So I better just shut up and stay off the phone and go take the damn dog for a walk.
Yeah, Ryan's in the chat. I find it so hard to see how so many TIs believe in a higher power. Well, I always have, so.
I hope for him. I hope for him that he has some supernatural experiences so that he gets to know. He really gets to know, because I didn't really know for sure either until I've had those near-death experiences and out-of-body experiences. That I didn't do anything to deserve that kind of beauty that I witnessed, and sadness at the same time, because I wanted to go, and I was told it wasn't my time, and I was mad and I was sad. But you know, basically, the idea was put in my head it wasn't my time yet. I had more work to do. So I was like, dang, really? Haven't I suffered enough? But you know, obviously, my suffering wasn't enough. I had more lessons to learn yet. I'm still learning. And it's not the kind of lessons I like to learn the hard way that we learn them. But it is. It just is what it is.
There was a woman in Hawaii who was really getting beaten up bad. I haven't heard from her in over a year.
I think I remember her.
Her
name Rose or something?
I think so, yeah.
I remember.
She called herself the Vaughn or something like that. Or Vaughn.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to live on an island because really, yeah. And knowing all the military bases we have over there, no, that would be. My brother was thinking about buying property over there, thinking that's paradise. No, it's torture because you have to fly everywhere and you gotta have money to fly. I was stuck on that island when I was in England. I hated it then, and I never to, be in that situation, because that's when the torture really happens, when you're on an island. You can't get away from it. Unless you have a yacht or a plane, even then. But I do know that there's a creator, and I've never seen an angel, but I believe that our loved ones that passed over are angels. There's just little unexplained things that have happened that have shown me and other people that their loved one was reminding them, remember who you are, need to be, remember this, remember that I taught you. So I believe that when we go into the next life, this is just our shell that we're having to live in and inhabit.
Yeah.
That there is something better.
Boy, I'm a coffee addict.
That sounds good right about now. I feel like going to get myself some coffee.
Yeah, by the gallon.
Big Gatorade thing full of it.
Yeah.
Instead of the ice bucket challenge, I have the coffee challenge.
Really. Where's
what else is going on in
Massachusetts? Well, not too much. I
didn't realize I was watching this show about Newfoundland. You're not too far from Newfoundland, right?
Newfoundland? Yeah, well, we're
yeah.
Quite a distance away from Newfoundland.
So
Maine's a lot closer.
Yeah, boy, when my brother went there, I was so jealous when he went to Maine and he got all that fresh live lobster. Oh, I was so jealous. God, I love some of that. Some shrimp and some lobster. I bet Ryan gets a lot of shrimp out there.
Yeah, I'm sure.
We used to call it crawfish where I grew up. Crawdads, crawfish.
Crawfish, yeah, and lakes.
Yeah. Crawfish. And frog legs. I thought I could eat frog legs, but they were better than chicken.
Well, I grew up on a lake when I was real little. Actually, 2 lakes, and there were crawfish there. Some people call them crayfish, crawfish, but you just lift up a rock and there'd be like, 2 or 3 under there.
Mm-hmm. And then I remember seeing a lot of clams, but I just didn't like the thought of eating a clam. It just grossed me out.
No, clams are good.
I like scallops, but I've never been a fan of clams or oysters.
Hey, Frank.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm fine. Why is it so quiet tonight over there?
Well, we had a guest on that was speaking about surveillance, and but he come in and left, and there were a lot of people that were actually here to like listen to him, but we knew that to begin with, but that's why.
Oh.
So it's a little,
what was he talking about?
all kinds of surveillance items. He works for. Actually, Amy.
Paula?
Yeah, it's Paula.
I bought some equipment from him, so I bought some equipment from him, so I asked him if he'd come on and be a guest speaker every once in a while, and he said, yeah, no problem. I've been talking to him.
Oh, you bought some equipment from him?
Yeah.
Yeah. I figured out how to use it.
What kind of equipment?
Oh, things to find bugs, things to recording stuff, visual audio.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And you missed that?
Yeah, I was out at Walmart and they followed me and they was trying to hurt me at the Dollar Tree and Walmart.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's a bummer.
Not surprised. Walmart.
Yeah.
I stay with Walmart as much as I can.
Well, they got a lot of good stuff in there, though. Sometimes there might be a piece that's a year old or a little outdated, but if you look at the prices, wow, they got some really decent prices.
Yeah, they do.
Thing is the indoor grill, that you could barbecue indoors without gas or, whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Same old over here. Same old crap. Ain't nothing changed. It's just the same old, same old. I've been up since 1:30 this morning. I was trying to hold up last night for Neil's call. They put me to sleep before Neil's call at 8:30. So I was asleep by 8 something. So 1:30 this morning. Then I got on Neil's call. He was still on till about me and Patrick was talking till about maybe 6:30 this morning.
Oh.
And me and Patrick and Alex. And Neil was on there till about maybe 3 or 4. And he must have went to sleep.
3 or 4 in the morning, huh? Wow.
Oh, yeah.
How's he doing? Is he feeling better?
I didn't get on right away. Like I said, I didn't get on till 1:30, so I missed all of it from 8:30 to 1:30. So when I got on, wasn't but a couple of people on.
I wonder what he's doing with his time. He must be probably working with his Rife machine.
Oh, I don't know. He sell products though, right?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, on his website.
Yeah, he sells Linkstat and all kinds of other things.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just the same old thing going on. Nothing changing.
Excuse me, Frank.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Faye in New York.
Hi, Faye. How you doing?
Hi. I'd really like to ask your opinion about something, and whoever else is listening.
Sure.
I have like a real problem here. I'm like starting to get really scared. I have a roommate, and it's almost 6 months. It's a girl. She's actually from Boston, and she's in her 20s. And when she first came here over 5 months ago, she was tracking me inside the apartment, just like how people do outside. It's like whenever I leave, she comes out into the foyer, or a lot of times when I leave my room, she comes out. But whenever I have to leave, she comes out or she goes into the kitchen because it's an open space there. So it's like she's tracking me.
Sounds like human nature to me. Usually if you're rooming in a situation like that and still brand new, it would be normal for like maybe somebody to be a little standoffish or something like that, until they got to know the person. And I don't know, it just sort of sounds like human nature,
No, what I mean is that whenever I leave my room, she comes out of her room because she has to be in the same space. It's like she always has her cell phone. She always has her cell phone with her, and she's like tracking me. It's the same thing that people do outside to me. And
I see.
Yeah, she's doing a lot of that, and so it has been. It's kind of terrifying me now. Before I thought maybe it's AI, where they're kind of controlling her to do those movements. But it's like nothing of a roommate. What?
Can you afford to not have a roommate?
Oh yeah. After this, I'm really. I just don't think it's safe anymore because it's starting to really scare me. She seems to be doing it in the last week. Even more, it's like she wants to force me to like speak out at her, but she always has her phone. It's like she wants to record it. So I don't know why she's doing that. Have you heard of any roommates doing that? Like they kind of force you to get mad at them.
No,
I had a roommate that was in on this completely, and she didn't have any money up front, and I let her in my house, and it was unbelievable. She didn't even sit down one time in the living room to talk with me. But then, like one time, I was all these rumors flying around, and she hadn't even paid any rent. And I went to the store and I bought groceries, and so they're trying to like say I'm a shoplifter, and she's in my house for free, running and looking in the garage to see what groceries I bought. It didn't work out.
Did she seem like a perp to you?
Well, she was. She had her own issues, and I guess that's what they say. A lot of times people are in some sort of bind themselves. But then she got a good job, and then she ended up, after she worked a few months, paying rent and everything, and then leaving. But it was very obvious that she was part of it. She was, and for free rent, Wow, that's nice. No, nothing down, and you become a spy. I've had so much of this happening. It's like people, unbelievable. So it's
terrifying when it's in your apartment,
having roommates and stuff. I think, and yeah, if you can give her notice and stuff.
Do you think that I should say anything to her? Because, if you confront a person, that could get even worse. So I so far I haven't said anything.
I just don't. I feel that I made a mistake, and I really don't want to have a roommate. It's really within your right to say I don't want a roommate. You know.
Okay, so I shouldn't tell her, oh, you seem like you're doing this, like tracking me. I shouldn't say any of that. I just say.
I don't know, because it's really hard not to, but maybe it's just best just to take a conservative approach and just say, you know, you just prefer to. I know, because I was always confronting, and that doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Yeah, I figure they won't.
Yeah.
They won't give
Because
us straight
everyone just lies and keeps on lying.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's just the most operandi.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, I'll try to do it that way.
But I definitely, you know, like I had some people in this, like, and they're doing all this, and it's just more peaceful if you can afford it. But I know it helps to have a roommate, but if you can afford it, it's more peaceful to not have to face that in your own home, because God wants you. I think God wants that my people will dwell in a peaceful habitation. When you've got that going on, it's not peaceful.
Right. Yeah. It gets pretty nerve-wracking. Frank?
Yes.
Something that might interest you is she stays in her room. I don't know if this has to do with remote neural monitoring. I heard someone mention that sometimes people come out and they look like they've been in the dark for a long time. She stays in her room and it's dark, and sometimes she wants to keep all the lights outside of the room. I don't know why, because she's in her room. So why? But she stays in for huge amounts of time, and she told me she doesn't sleep well. But it's like 12-hour shifts, or, you know, really super long, or like 16 hours. Do you think she's doing remote neural monitoring?
Does she have remote neural monitoring? Remote neural monitoring is something that you own. It's not something that you are something and someone is doing to you. In other words, monitoring you. What she's doing is probably just following your movements. If you want to put a label on it, just following your movements.
But on purpose, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So like stalking me.
Yeah, well, you know, it could be innocent. It could be coincidence that, you know, she walks out of the room at the same time you do. Maybe she likes you and wants to get to know you better.
No, it's not that. It's like she would have no idea when I'm coming out of my room. It's like too coincidental, and it's like 90% of the time for 6 months. So I know she's able to watch me or something.
Right.
So, yeah. But I think it is best from what someone was just saying now. Maybe I shouldn't confront her, because that'll just.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay, just give some excuse like it's better. I need more space or something.
The other thing she could do is she could turn it around and say, I'm going to file a lawsuit against you for libel or whatever. Whereas if you just say it's about you, you just need your space, they would have no grounds.
Well, what was the first one you said?
If you just keep it about you, and it's not about them, about you needing your space, that way they can't turn around and try to sue you. Because a lot of people, they're in this world to just go around and sue people. I've seen that happen a lot.
Oh, yes, right. Yeah, it's like she's trying to force me into that. Yeah.
So don't let her coax you into an argument or a confrontation. Just, you know, keep it very businesslike and very simple. That way she can't paint you in a corner.
Thank you so much for your advice, because I was getting really nervous tonight.
Well, I've had roommate situations that it was just a nightmare. That, it was just very disruptive.
I have a nightmare one.
Yeah, you do. I mean, I've had some good ones, but I've had some others that they just would steal from me and want to get in my business, and yeah, when I'd leave, things would go missing, and they'd have little rummage sales so they could get their drug money. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me! I must be really stupid, naive, all painted all over my forehead, stupid and naive.
That's gaslighting.
So I just bolted. Yep, I packed everything up, and I had everything paid up, you know, to that point, and I just bolted. And they were mad because they would have no more money coming in, no more sucker, because everybody else had left them. It's obvious they couldn't, you know, they had, you know, article in the paper for like, you know, months. Nobody wanted to be there, and there was all kinds of riffraff going on. So, yeah, you definitely don't want to get into the gaslighting thing, which I didn't even know gaslighting was a thing. I never even heard about that back then. But yeah, it's best to just not get into confrontation because you don't know what they're capable of.
Right, yeah. I definitely
You
won't.
just don't want to fight that. You just want to be professional. You know, I've got issues going on in my life. It's nothing to do with you. It's my own personal, I need my own personal space because I just need quiet time and to be by myself. You don't have to explain why.
Right, yeah. Well, thanks a lot. I feel a lot better asking. Well, thanks, Frank and Amy.
Yeah, sure. Have a good night now.
Thanks everybody here.
Whoever helped me out there.
I would prefer for me to not confront, but I think it's better not to, just to get your peace back. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good piece of advice right there. Yeah, because you already had roommate problems before, so that finally apparently got rid of that one. So I guess it's enough with roommates for a while.
Yeah, I think so. Or I mean, it certainly helped financially, but it's just better to have peace. Frank, this is Julie, and I was going to ask about Tyler. Was that the guy how did that, I tried to tune in, but I did think it was too late. Is anything developed? Is he doing okay?
Amy would know better than I. I haven't had any, I haven't seen Tyler.
I invited him on. But he's like, no, he didn't have any use for any surveillance equipment. So I said, well, we could see about getting a GoFundMe page set up for you in case they try to take your internet again and your phone.
Did he have his court? Did he have his court that they were going to?
Yeah,
he did. He did.
And did that go okay?
It didn't go as bad as he anticipated. So he's going to be remaining there. His mother has taken guardianship, but that's just all temporary. And I don't want to say what I have in the works for him because I don't want to jinx it. So,
well, I just hope
that someone else through NLA that may be able to fix it all. So I'm not bothering with Eric anymore. I don't want any part of that business, the ghosting and all that stuff. I'm done, So I'm not gonna feel hate or be vindictive. I just want the best for him, and however we can bring that. So I'm in contact with someone from NLA.
Well, that's good.
She's an attorney, so it's in the works. And I just kept asking the attorney, well, can I have this other guy's name? Can I have his number? And he's like, no, he's very low key. Don't even try, but he's agreed to help. And I said, okay, all I need to know. So I will just be patient and wait.
Amy, you should. Yeah, it'd be good to have him on here because it's the right kind of exposure. And it's just friendly talk and advice, and
I agree. When Eric kept saying, "Don't go on there," there are a bunch of nutcases, and he saw the text that I forwarded to you, what he said about all of us.
Oh yeah.
So I sent him some nasty stuff back. I said, "Eric, how dare you? You don't have any clue what you are talking about. How dare you talk about women that way? You obviously hate women. You obviously have a problem with women. And you were trying to put a hit on me, and you were trying to hit on my other friend. And I said, you know, I'm not interested in you that way. This is a professional deal. I'm not looking for, you know, a mate. I'm trying to just solve my own issues in my own life. I'm definitely not someone way the heck across the country in New York, in the middle of boonies, out there in upstate by Amish country. No, I am not. No, I'm not interested. So he got all retaliatory, said a lot of awful things about all of us, about me, about this other person, to Tyler, saying don't talk about them, they're a bunch of bees. And I'm like, okay, all right. So I said, Eric, I said, Tyler, you'd be best to just cut him off and not talk to him anymore, because he's not doing anything for you. Lori is. I said, just, you know, you can do what you want. You're a grown man. I'm not here to tell you what to do. You make up your own mind. And he said, yeah, but what he said, it's obvious to me.
Hey, Ashley. Hi,
I'm
Ashley.
going to give him a call now and try to bring him on.
Yeah.
There you go.
Ashley, welcome to the Lonely Planet.
Yeah, Ashley.
Well, thank you. I'm muted because it's already hotter than hell down here. I got the fan running loud.
Oh, yeah. Scott was on, the surveillance guy, if you can hear me.
Yeah, who was that?
I'm not really giving him a last name, but his first name is Scott, and we call him Scott Smith because he didn't want to reveal his real last name. But he is.
I didn't mean by name, but like you said it, like the surveillance guy. Like I thought I was supposed to imply that I might know who you were speaking of.
Well, he runs a surveillance shop out in California, and Amy has bought a lot of stuff from him. So she asked him if it would be, asked him to come on the show, and he did, and he's going to be good. So we're going to build a show around him on a Sunday or something when he has time, because he was on for 45 minutes, like at the beginning of the show. So it's like, hello, that's not going to work. So he left at 9:45, and everybody was just starting to get into it. So, but that's not, we were aware of that to begin with. So, but it was great. He has got some very good information for us, those of us who have V2K and those of us who are heavily gang stalked. So there's a lot of information there in some of the products that he carries. Like, every kind of camera you can think of, mini cams, nanny cams. And for those of us who have V2K, he has this sonic device that goes in your ear. And that's what I wanted him to touch on, but he left before we had a chance to actually speak about that. So at this point in time, we're going to ask him back again. And thank you, Amy, for bringing him to our attention. And so we'll build a show. We'll build a show around him on a Sunday. That's when he has time off. So we'll do that on a Sunday. Should be
I
fun.
talked to Melissa.
Yeah, you did. Great.
Yeah, if y'all are praying folks, you might say one for her.
Why? What's going on now?
Well, no, I mean, I'm not saying anything new, but I'm just saying she's really getting it piled on her,
Yeah, I have. If you need anything, such as information. I have all of her information, right down to her husband's ID number in the hospital. So if anybody wants to get in touch with her, that's the best way to do it.
Hey, it's a small, are there a bunch of people on the phone that are not on the board?
Nope.
How many, are there how many people are on the phone? Or do you mind me asking?
Yeah, that's no problem. We got like 12 people.
Okay, I was going to ask, did Ryan and Angel, did y'all meet each other?
Ryan and Angel? Yeah.
Yes, and you too, Frank, right?
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
we met at the get together, the last stars meeting. Yeah, last month.
Okay, cool, cool. I'm jealous, of you guys.
I wish you were closer.
Oh yeah, me too. I wish in the one hand, and y'all know what to do in the other one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't think I can handle Massachusetts because New Jersey was not. It was rough on old South Arkansas girl. It really was. It was too cold. It was too fucking cold. I mean, I didn't even make it all the way. I didn't have to spend the whole winter there, but like by November, I was just miserable. I thought I owned a coat, but really I didn't. What we call a coat's really like a jacket.
Yeah. Well,
the heaviest shit we would ever use is really just like a jacket.
Yeah, you need some serious gear out here.
Well, I thought it was serious. I was like, I'm gonna take that big coat.
No, bigger coat. Yeah, it gets cold, but Massachusetts is a lot
colder. Yeah,
better. We'll just say better.
Oh yeah.
No,
South Jersey was kind of pretty, but North Jersey up there was just it was a lot of people, no left turns. A lot of people, no grass, no trees hardly.
Yeah,
it was pretty packed in there.
See, I pictured Arkansas as being a cold place too. I guess
cold?
Yeah.
The only thing between us and the Gulf of Mexico is Louisiana.
Okay, all right.
Well, I'm all the way down to the very south of Arkansas. The mountains of Arkansas probably are cooler.
Yeah.
5 or 6 hours north of here, but down here, I'm down here in the swamp, man, in the Delta region.
Yeah, I've got my built-in atlas in my head screwed up, I think.
I don't know where you got Arkansas at, but you know what? Northern Arkansas does have the Ozark Mountains, and it is, I'm sure, a lot cooler.
I've got chickens. I've got not Jimmy Carter.
Who said it is? Is somebody else from Arkansas? Oh my God!
Well, I'm from Oklahoma, so it's just, I mean, it's cold over there too.
Yeah, you're right. Oklahoma. Hey, Oklahoma. How you doing? What's your name?
Julie. Where are you from? Where are you?
Smack over Arkansas.
What is the name of it?
It's by El Dorado, by Camden, down in the south.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
What part of Oklahoma are you in?
Huh?
What part of Oklahoma are you?
Tulsa.
Tulsa, yeah, it's about 6 hours from here, maybe.
Yeah. Tulsa's very. I think something's happened in Tulsa that's never happened anywhere to this degree. It's unbelievable. I mean, in my town, everybody's in on it. Where you guys are, is everybody in it? Literally everybody.
I heard in Oklahoma that the females, there's no bigger incarceration rate than there is in Oklahoma.
Yeah, we get all these. We got these all these kids. Right. High rates in which it should be low, and low rates in which it should be high, and everybody's focused on me, and my background check really is a seatbelt violation.
You guys chat. I'm going to grab some coffee. I'll be right back. Hold on.
But anyway, yeah, I think I read that too. I heard that too. And they had the highest.
Because all the men work in the oil fields there, and all the women are left to tend the house.
I really don't know. There's probably just, I just really don't know. It's I just read or saw older, like a 2015 news report on YouTube or something that was the highest foster care child abuse in the nation. 7 times the population in Texas, 7 times the population, and Oklahoma had 121 more than Texas in foster care child abuse.
That's awful. That
It's
makes
unbelievable. It's really unbelievable that they just don't seem to want to tend to their real knitting of what needs to be done. But anyway, it's unbelievable. Here come helicopters. I'm outside. Oh, maybe I shouldn't. Anyway.
Well, if anybody's interested in wanting to know about legal stuff, I can give you guys the phone number. Every Monday night they have a call, and they have one going right now. I'm just listening to it, see what the subject matter was. But the National Liberty Alliance, you can join it. It's $60 a year. You don't have to, but there are a lot of legal minds that know a lot about common law and God-given law.
Know about what? Know about what?
Common law and God-given law. You can see all the cases that they've worked on and that they are working on. They were involved with the Bundy Ranch, 9/11. These are ongoing things. They help people with habeas corpus to get out of prison or psych wards. Connie Robinson has been a huge part of that to tell about this, and I give her credit again where credit's due, because she was the one that told me, and she advocates for people like Anna Taylor. She's just a wonderful human being. So National Liberty Alliance, they're out of upstate New York, and while he's getting coffee, I can bridge it on and you can listen for a little bit of what they're saying if you want. And it is interesting.
I'm getting a little bit of reverberation. What is it? The National Alliance for what?
National Liberty Alliance. They do free legal help for people in all kinds of situations.
Oh, yeah, and somehow, it's like that what they're doing to me is they've got it to where nobody wants to help me, because it's like they're presented with a watch, this big watch, and it's just, God, it really is my only help. And that's what we need. But I just, they got it to where it's like, it's like, I told there was a girl at a thrift store, and I said, now, if you gang stalk, you can really get paid for this, and you shouldn't settle for not getting paid and doing what you all are doing, and I was just teasing, and she said, I don't want to go to jail. Like they're presenting it like if anybody tells the truth, and like I did have a pastor in the neighborhood I was going to church, and he said they're calling it a neighborhood watch. And I would say a neighborhood watch plus a lot. And it's been going on 8 years. And
is this Julie still talking?
Yeah.
Julie, do you ever on the computer?
Well, my computer is always down. I just have the phone and the internet. But yeah,
do you have an email address that you ever checked? Or
I have an email. Yeah, I have an email.
Would you give it to me? I've got something I'd like to email you.
Okay, it's.
You want to take and shoot me an email that if you want to do it that way.
Okay, what is your email?
Okay, my email is ASH.
ASH.
Yes, Ash, like a.
Like, okay, Ash.
Henderson, HEN.
Henderson, okay.
Yeah, Parrish, PARRISH.
Did you say Henderson, SEN?
SON.
SON. Ash Henderson Parrish, PARRISH. Okay.
Correct. At iCloud.com.
At iCloud.com. Ash Henderson Parrish at iCloud.com.
Right.
Okay.
And if you'll shoot me an email and tell me, you're Julie from Oklahoma, I'm going to send you an excerpt from a manual. You may have read it from Dr. Ronnie Kilda's manual. Like it's sort of a low-level park manual, and they called it community-based agents. But it was helpful for me to read that part of that manual. It really was. And you're
there was a YouTube recently. Someone was saying that the terminology that we use with gang stalking and all that, it's something else. Police. Oh, there's two terms that I forget what they were.
COINTELPRO and what's the other one, guys? Proactive policing. They call it proactive policing. Yeah, InfraGard and proactive policing. I can't remember. But you're on the right lines.
Now we have fusion centers too.
Yeah, that's great. I think they're building like they're building something else that they're calling a church gym, but I never saw a church gym that needed like barbed wire. Those things that come at an angle where you can attach 3 rows of barbed wire to it.
Yeah.
What the fucking church gym? And people were just like, no, really, it's gonna be a gym. No, whatever you think there. Go back to sleep, sheeple. I'm sorry, Julie. Go carry on.
Email is ashhendersonparish@icloud.com, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna send you a link to that manual. I think it would be helpful for you. It was helpful.
And what is your name? Is your name Ashley?
My name's Ashley.
Ashley. Okay. Ashley. Okay. Okay, I'll put that in there and all. Okay, thank you. I'd like to see that.
Okay, well, I just went and got some coffee and it was burnt to hell, but I'm drinking it anyway.
You're busy roasting those beans, huh?
Isn't it late to drink coffee? Is it decaf?
Oh, no. And coffee is actually very good for your heart. They used to say that it was bad, but now they've turned around and said that it's very good for your heart.
Well, it's like eggs and everything else. One week it's good for you, and 1 week it's not.
Yeah, they turn it around the next week. Yeah. My father did not have any kind of heart problems, and he was pushing 20 cups a day, and that's no exaggeration.
Wow.
He lived on it.
Goodness. Wow. Did he eat healthy otherwise?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yep. Just lots of coffee. Well.
So, anyway, all right, go ahead. Don't let me interrupt you. Just kick me out of here, and you guys can talk if you want, because
no, we need a moderator.
Well, it's your call. It's not my call. That's exactly right. I'm just the moderator. So if you want to speak,
they all missed the guest speaker. I guess I should have asked them to come on later rather than earlier.
Yeah. Well, before anybody else leaves, caller 34 just left. If you want to speak, just unmute *6, and you can talk all you want.
Well, does anybody experience has anyone seen there's a YouTube by John Oliver, or it was on HBO, I guess, about civil asset forfeiture? Has anybody seen that?
No.
Philadelphia seized 1,100 houses, and there was actually nobody's ever charged with a crime. They just seized stuff.
Yeah, they took everything under eminent domain, didn't they? Is that what it was?
Started that 2015. Jade Helm.
What's that?
They started that in 2015. I was blowing it. I was telling everybody about it. Operation Jade Helm 15 in 2015. They were planning that, and they did do that.
The civil asset forfeiture.
Ever since. Yeah. Illegal unlawful civil forfeiture.
Yeah, civil forfeiture. It's like they're
I have
just,
a book
it's like
called
they've made the public,
Policing for Profit.
yes,
They have
they've made the
no
public, so,
legal, lawful reason to do it.
and
They're doing right now. They're doing these high pitched sounds to try to drown me out, to try to
I
scare
hear
me
that.
off. But
I'm
it's not
trying
working.
to find
Yep.
that. I don't see it.
Doing that to me. They always do that to me when I'm telling the truth. Wah, wah, wah. Well, they can cry all their way to their bank and see when they get their house taken away from them.
yeah, I mean, I really feel that that's what the bottom line of why they're doing this to me. And also, I got the word deep porn America. I feel like the Lord gave me the word deep porn America, and someone was following me around taking pictures of me. And, it's just stupid, stupid, stupid stuff. And there's no way on earth that there'd be any justification for people to be taking pictures of people in bathrooms. That they gotta keep their little party going and not let people know what's really going on behind the scenes with why they have pictures of people, because they got cameras and TVs and cameras everywhere, and it's so evil. And but then I feel that really that the I felt like I'd been posted as a shoplifter, and I didn't take anything, although I did one time. Was I can see where they have cameras everywhere, and they're piecing this all together, and they want there to be a criminal, and they want there to be a crime. And I took something back from one store. I did take something back from one store to another, and it was really wrong. And like I took some dye back, and I really wasn't sure where I got the dye, and I took it back to a store, and then, I mean, it really was kind of crazy stuff. But then they just wanted trying to make a criminal acts out of it. And there was, that I did do that, where I took something back from one store to another, and that was wrong. That was really wrong. But yet and still, they, let's settle with what has actually happened. And they're trying to just build this case and nonstop. And, it is so hard to be peaceable, because I'm like to the point, if your motives are right and you're not trying to frame me, may lightning, just like lightning struck you. If you're trying to frame me for something that really didn't happen, and if I'm saying something didn't happen and it did, lightning struck me. I'm just like, it's just crazy. This is just going on, and I think it's about civil asset forfeiture, that it was really a function of my city had 54 due process lawsuits, and they got a couple of cases where they had to go back and pay millions of dollars to people, and so they see that they've got naked lady pictures, and they're going to try to spin it into something where they can see some assets and build their coffers back up. Because of the civil asset forfeiture, they think they've pitted the public against. I mean, it's like the government's going broke, and then the churches, they have all these people that get $500,000 salaries, and it's a charitable contribution, what is it? Non-charitable, non-taxable charitable organization. And they're so then they've got to go to the public and try to build their coffers up. Does that make sense? And so they've got it to where they can seize anything. And I know that there's policemen that are trying to make it honorable again, to be a policeman. But I really feel that it's a function of that it is a function of trying to just see some assets. And they, there's Tulsa, like you said about the women's incarceration rate, and it's 150% above the national average in crime. I mean, it's just gone crazy, and it's like, and so then they're not,
the corporations are making money off of them. They're having those grants to be able to keep funding the prisons.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah,
prisons open, keeping the psych wards open, paying the doctors, paying the people who work there, the jailers, all of that. That's sad. I see this day.
we really need help from above, but
Yeah, we do.
yeah, we really do. And but so anyway, it's just that whole civil asset forfeiture thing. It's like, did anyone see that John Oliver YouTube? You can go YouTube John Oliver civil asset forfeiture, and it really explains it well.
Are you on computer? Are you on computer or are you on the telephone?
I'm on a phone.
Oh, okay. All right. Because this happens every once in a while. My board won't refresh, so I can't even see you. This is only the second time this has happened, but that's fine. No problem.
Oh, on my phone, you can't tell that I'm on the line or something.
Oh no, I just wanted you to put that link, that YouTube link, in the chat. Or what's the title to it again?
I don't know how to do that. Like if I pull up your number. Yeah, I guess I could do that. I can do a YouTube link to your number.
Yes. Text it to me.
Let me see if I can pull it up now.
I can search by title too.
Let's see here. Okay, so that's going to come up now. And then if I, can you hear that? Okay, so then let me see. Share to, okay, so then, okay, so if I send it, what is your phone number? Start out with 508. Let's see if it'll pull up.
508.
508.
857.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Okay. And 8334 for those of you who don't have it.
Okay, I think it went to you.
Yep, it did. Got it. Thank you.
Wow, that's pretty neat.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so that one does explain quite a bit. That
Okay, yeah, I'd like to have that.
Yeah, and so it's just like one of the guys says,
civil forfeiture.
Pennies in heaven. They talk to a cop and he says, well, what kind of stuff do they take? And they say, well, it's just kind of what we want to take.
Well, you know, the only
you kind of think of it as pennies in heaven. At least he's being honest.
Hey, Frank,
can you post,
yeah. Can you post on there Operation Jade Helm 15, Alex Jones? Frank?
I'm here.
Frank, can you post Operation Jade Helm 15, 2015, Alex Jones?
Alex Stone.
And Alex Jones and Laurie Anderson broke the stories.
Okay,
about
hold on.
that.
Let me find it.
The military seizing assets all over.
Okay, hold on 1 second. I just got to move a couple screens out of the way. And
that's when they really got at me and got on my case and really annihilated me.
Okay, Operation Jade
Helm 15 in 2015. The fall of 2015.
And
Alex Jones, Laurie Anderson. Alex Jones, Laurie Anderson is an investigative reporter, and Alex Jones, she's a ex-Navy wife that was based out of Norfolk, Virginia.
Alex Jones, okay. I will have that in the chat in 2 seconds.
The Black Beret, the Green Berets, they all came into the towns, making it look like it was an exercise. They do these kind of mass exercises on base, but no, this was in all the towns. They secretly went incognito, worked with DHS and FEMA, put people in FEMA camps. Disneyland is one of those that has FEMA camps. In case anybody didn't know, Disney World, Disneyland.
Okay, I'm trying to get a YouTube out of this somewhere. Hold on 1 second. I'll see if I can find it.
Governor Greg Abbott from Texas knew about it, was involved with blowing that open too. And Mike Luttrell, the last Navy SEAL.
Hold on. I'll just put in
15-6.
Do you know about the, I think it's the Fellowship of the Mind that is kind of reveals some of the stuff that's going on, like with Sandy Hook and all that. They have,
that's right.
Where they tried to set up a contribution fund before the event happened, and they, one of the fathers was supposed to have had one of his kids, in the shooting, and he was actually a crisis actor, and they kind of go into what's going on with all that, and
I believe it.
Amy, I've got Jade Helm 15 is not martial law takeover. Jade Helm 15 has already begun. These are all Alex Jones. Jade Helm, just the beginning.
Yeah, and then there was another one the next year. They called it something else, but in 2016 it was another Jade Helm, where they took the rest of the nation.
Okay, I know there was a lot of
Russians. They had Russians training at Fort Carson, Colorado. They had Chinese troops training at Yellowstone National Park, Yosemite. That's why they closed the parks, and some other places. They've got some right now stationed on the Pennsylvania-New York border. A bunch of Chinese troops called the Million Man Army that China will be taking over the United States and Russia at some time or another. We don't know when, but they're postured there.
Okay, it's in there.
There's that many people there in Pennsylvania, soldiers? 1 million?
No, it's called the Million Man Army, the Chinese army that wants to take back or take over the United States because we owe them money, supposedly, but they owe us money for goods and services. So
they do have documentation of whatever of troops already here from China and Russia.
I'm not sure. There's just a bunch of false flags. But I know someone who's in upstate New York that said he saw the Chinese troops that are there. He doesn't know why they're there, by Amish country between Pennsylvania and New York. And they stick out like a sore thumb.
Wow. Golly.
So they're waiting on something.
Wow. It's really time to pray, isn't it? It's always time to do that.
There's a lot of things going on, and
A lot of things.
everywhere, all over the world, this stuff's going on. Yeah. Well, I'm going to call it, it's 12:24. I usually run this call till midnight on Monday night. Wednesday night will be 2 a.m. So that's the one.
Oh, okay.
Okay, good night, Scouts.
Okay. God bless. God bless all the eyes all over the world.
Good night. Bye-bye. Good night.
Night.